You're listening to the Telltale Channel. If you like what I do and you want to see me continue to do it, don't forget to check out my Patreon. You can find some ad-free, uncensored, complete versions of my videos on my website, owenmorgan.com. All links are in the description. Welcome, everybody. Thank you so much for coming. Got some interesting news. So, my book is done. It's done. The ebook has been exported. The print book has been exported. All I have to do is print it. That's it. I have to go to the website and order the prints, and that starts tomorrow, I think. And I think there's like a 72-hour hold or wait time or something on Kindle after I open it, or after I like create a book. They have to review it, and they will go through the whole thing, and then 72 hours, the ebook should be available. Audiobook is still being edited. It's a long process, but oh my God, I'm this close to done. Anyway, I just can't wait to be done. I was planning on giving an ebook to everybody who made a pre-order, just to, until their book comes in. But my God, it's going to be a complicated mess to do that. I thought I could just like upload a PDF to them on the thing, but I can't do that. So I don't know. I got to figure out how that's going to work. I tell you what, if you did a pre-order on Etsy, owenmorgan.com/book, if you did a pre-order there and you want a copy of the ebook right now, send me a message on Etsy and I will send the ebook to you, a link to the ebook. Please don't give it out. I would really appreciate it if you didn't. I can't stop anybody from giving it out. Obviously, there's nothing I can do to stop you, but, support the artist. I would appreciate it if you supported the artist by not giving it out to anybody. However, I'm a man of my word, and the 100 questions for Jehovah's Witnesses, it's, I thought it was going to be shorter than this, but it's 80 pages. It's an 80-page book. Longer than I thought. I probably should have charged more for it because it's going to cost more money to produce. I don't know. Anyway, 80 pages long, 82 or something, and it's effectively copyright free. Not 100%. Basically, the only restriction is you can't sell it. So it's Creative Commons Attribution Non-Commercial. Basically, you have to keep the copyright page in, and you can add to it, you can modify it, you can pass it out to anybody you want, you can print copies and hand them out to people, you can do whatever you want with it, but I would really appreciate it if you guys just purchased it for me. It would go a long way. It would help me a lot. Anyway, yeah. So Creative Commons Attribution Non-Commercial for that one. Anyway, that's pretty exciting. I'm like this close to everything. Matter of fact, I have the book covers. Seriously, it took me I held a contest for people to give me book covers, and most people already know this if they've been around a while. I'm an artist myself. I draw. I have an iPad and an Apple Pencil. I can draw with pencils and normal pencils and all that stuff, and I've been drawing for years and years and years and years, working in Photoshop and everything for 10 years, 15 years. I held a contest for a book cover thing for somebody to help me create a book cover. I didn't need them to create the book cover. I needed inspiration and ideas and interesting stuff. So I've been working on the book cover for 20, 30 hours over the past couple of days, way longer than it should have had. But I did finish editing the book covers. Let's see, where is it? It's yeah, here we are. This one, and it is 1 second. Complete. Yes. Wait, what's the difference? Oh. Yeah, here we go. Okay. This is my book cover for Understanding Jehovah's Witnesses. It's my my longer book. I've got like the back where I talk about what the book is about. I'm going to put a barcode in the bottom right corner eventually once I get an ISBN number for it and everything. That takes time. But I want to make it available to people now. I wanted to... This is inspired by Alma Tadaro's artwork. She won the contest, technically, got first place. But I included the art from other people, too, in the book. Just, because I think it'd be cool for them to have their artwork in my book. And here's the book, 100 Questions for Jehovah's Witnesses. Too small to put anything on the spine, so this is what the book cover looks like. My name's Owen Morgan. I was born into the Jehovah's Witness religion. After investigation, I have some questions that have been left unanswered. I'm asking Jehovah's Witnesses to consider these fundamental questions. If this is the truth, capital T, Jehovah's organization will stand up to close examination. We are all looking for accurate information. My intent in writing this booklet is not to offend or attack. I don't want to hurt anybody. I simply want answers. Signed, your loving brother, Owen Morgan. So, anyway, yeah, those are the two book covers. If you want to get in on the pre-order, owenmorgan.com/book, and you get the ebook if you request it in messages. I think that's really the only way that I can do it. If you request it in messages, technologically, I have technological limitations that prevent me from doing it otherwise. Anyway, yeah, pretty excited for that. It's going to be awesome. All right, I'll tell you what, let's hit the first story, shall we? Let me find it. Hold on. Oh my God, where did all my stuff go? 1 second here. All right, here we go. Yeah, this is it. Okay, good. And then 331 Telltale Unfiltered. So I don't know if you guys heard, this is unrelated. Greg Locke. You guys probably know Greg Locke, right? He's that hate preacher from Mount Juliet, Tennessee. Mega church guy. Well, I was watching some news footage, and I was listening to him talk about this. Apparently somebody allegedly drove a trailer to the intersection near his church and unhitched it, and it had 200 Bibles in it, and they lit it on fire and drove off, left the trailer there. And Greg Locke claims that he has video footage of it, security footage, but he wouldn't share the footage with the news so as not to compromise the investigation. I don't understand what that has to do with anything. How would you compromise the investigation by sharing the footage? What? So anyway, I'm not sure what's going on with that. I don't know. Like, I'm starting to think that the dude made this up, that he's the one that did it. Like, he just, he got a trailer and he threw some Bibles in and he lit it up to try to exacerbate his persecution complex. The FBI can neither confirm nor deny whether they are involved in this case. And I don't have any reason to believe that it even happened at this moment, truthfully. I don't know. That would be a wild thing to make up. And the news reported on it. But when the news reported, they kept saying that their source is Greg Locke. Greg Locke says, blah, blah, blah. Pastor Locke, blah, blah, blah. Pastor Locke has video footage, but he said that he can't share it with us because he don't want to compromise the investigation. Anyway, I did a whole video about it, and it's probably going to be releasing soon. I just haven't edited the video yet. I want to get that edited, cleaned up. But yeah, that's kind of interesting. All right, let's see. Let me hit the... let me do my transitions real quick, and we'll get started on Driscoll. In this podcast, Pastor Mark Driscoll has some bizarre obsession with gender and gay people. I don't know what's going on with this guy, but he talks about it more than I do. And it's my literal job to sit here and sift through right-wing extremist news. That's saying something. I'm sad to say that Richard Dawkins has completely lost the plot. He used to be considered a strong atheist, and he's been responsible for a lot of atheists leaving religion behind. His comments on a British radio show were absolutely bizarre. I don't know where his head is anymore. Anti-trans propaganda is getting absolutely out of control. Seriously. When is it... hang on. When is it too painfully stupid and transparent for the far right to accept? Is there a limit to this? My God! You have to listen to this video. A few years ago, Roger Stone revealed what he called a portal, quote-unquote, over the White House. They brought televangelist Robin Bullock on the program during the reveal to talk about what they should do about it. Now, Robin Bullock, years later, is taking credit for the portal. We also take voicemails if you want to leave a voicemail. The number is 1-800-701-8573. You can also send me an email by going to my website, owenmorgan.com, and hitting the Contact Me button in the menu. Also, check out my book, owenmorgan.com/book. I'd appreciate that very much. All right, cool. Let's see here. So, again, like, I've been editing like you guys wouldn't even believe. And I had limited time, so I don't have an outline for this stuff either. I had an outline. I didn't have an outline last week either. I usually have an outline for this stuff, but we'll make it. We'll figure it out, right? We'll get there. I do have an outline for this specific video right here that we're about to watch, but not for the others. All right. Stampede 122. Fun little fact for this stream is that the F-15 Eagle has the combat record of 104 kills and no losses, with an F-15E having kill on a helicopter with a guided bomb. Wow, really? That's crazy. Interesting. An F-15 Eagle, huh? F-15 Eagle. Wow. That's crazy. What was it? It was like something called the B-52 bomber that was classified during Vietnam, right? Is that the plane? It was like shaped like an airplane that Batman would fly or something like that. Is that the one I'm thinking of? No. No, this is a different one. Although that one is scary. Wait. When did the B-52 bomber come out? 1955. Which planes were used in Vietnam? Oops. It was the B-52 Stratofortress. Okay, I knew it was B-52 something. And it was classified at the time. And the Skyhawk, too. That's a... God, they have such cool names for airplanes, don't they? I love it. Skyhawk. That's great. And then the Thunder Chief. My God, dude. Who is naming these airplanes? They are on point with this. Seriously. I've got to get them to come in and name thumbnails for me. Because some of these names are absolutely on point for airplanes. Douglas F-4 Phantom 2. Okay, well, that guy can't name any thumbnails for me. That one isn't as cool as the others. Anyway, one of them was classified. I don't remember what classified plane was used in Vietnam. I don't remember which one, but my dad was working on it. I remember they were flying over. It was classified that the plane even existed. It was some stealth technology or something. And they were flying over jungles and dropping Agent Orange on, like, the jungles. Agent Orange is a powder, I think. It's a substance that immediately kills trees, just like, boom, like within just a few seconds. It's chemical warfare, and I believe it's banned everywhere today. Anyway, like internationally, I think it's banned, Agent Orange, because it's a chemical weapon. If you come within, any proximity of it, it will cause all kinds of crazy health problems you would never expect. Cancers of bizarre types and diabetes and all kinds of stuff. Well, whatever classified plane my dad was working on, I don't remember. Maybe it was a mix of different planes. He was in the Air Force in Vietnam. And basically, the airplanes would come back and land, and my dad would go in and he'd clean out dead bodies of people who were shot when, they were shooting at the airplanes. Bullets go through the airplanes and kill people. And my dad was dragging the dead bodies out and bringing them to, the crematorium or whatever it is they did. I don't know. And there was Agent Orange in the airplane. So my dad was exposed to Agent Orange. Now, my dad was a hypochondriac. And, well, no, he wasn't. He wasn't a hypochondriac. He had Munchausen syndrome. So I'm hesitant to believe any health-related claims from him. But my dad received full disability benefits and a military pension from the military for this specific thing. Doctors attested to the fact that this, that certain health problems that he absolutely did have, diabetes and some other things, absolutely were the result of his actions in the Air Force that he was forced to undertake or whatever. So, anyway, they gave him full disability. The Air Force did. And that's what he lived off of to the end of his days. Just died a few years ago. Agent Orange is the real deal. Anyway, sorry to get off on that little side quest there. Stampede brought it up, so blamed Stampede 122. You are confusing the B-52 and the B-2. Okay, yeah, that may be the case. I don't remember. There was something. You know what? My dad told me it was one of the classified planes, so maybe it wasn't a classified plane. Who knows? Like, half the shit my dad said was a lie, but that wasn't. That was real. That one was real, so. Anyways, really interesting. Can't wait for the Robin Bullock one. I don't think you covered him in a while. Also, can't wait to read your book. Thank you so much, Brandy A. I appreciate it. If you've already done the pre-order and you're waiting for your physical copy to come in, send me a message on Etsy, and I will ask for it, the ebook, and I'll send you the ebook. I'll get it to you. Gifted five Owen's Fireside Chat memberships. Thank you so much, Brandy A. I really appreciate that. That is awesome. Stampede 122, the only highly classified planes during NAM is the SR-71 and the U-2. Well, I think my dad worked on all of them. He was a mechanic that worked on them for a while, and he was also, dragging dead bodies out. So, God, what an ugly war for absolutely no reason, It's like World War I. What? Can you give me a reason why World War I happened? I mean, this is going down a rabbit hole here, but I understand. Yes, the Archduke Franz Ferdinand was shot or whatever. That kicked off World War I. But why? Why was World War I being fought exactly? We can put a name to why World War II is being fought. Nazis. Extermination of Jews, genocide, Holocaust. You can put those words to World War II. Why was World War I being fought? I mean, I know the answer. I don't know if you guys do. The answer is the assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand was viewed as a signal that the country was weak and it was time to go in. So one country said, all right, let's do it. They brought their troops in. They were pissed off at this country in the first place, ready to throw down, threw their troops in. And while they were over there doing that, Germany or somebody, I don't remember who, some other country said, hey, their military is occupied right now fighting those guys over there. Do you want to take their stuff? And they sent their army in. While that country was occupado, dealing with sacking the other country, another country came into the third one and was like, hey, they're occupied dealing with those people who are occupied dealing with those people. Do you want to take their stuff? That's basically like the story of World War I. Everybody was pissed off at everybody else, and tensions came to a fever pitch, and it all fell apart. Sometimes I get sidetracked. Sorry about that. I just think it's interesting. That's all. All right, let's talk about these people, shall we? Just checking through the chat here. World War I was a series of land grabs. Yeah. That's it. Emily Christina, pretty much. Attempted land grabs that failed because all the other guys were attempting land grabs on everybody else. God, it was ridiculous. I'm trying to figure out what the United States role was in it exactly, but anyway. Thought it was the sinking of the Lusitania for World War I. I think it was the assassination of the Archduke Franz Ferdinand. I might be wrong on that, but I'm pretty sure that's what it was. I mean, maybe the sinking of the Lusitania was our entry into the war in the United States, but World War I as a whole, a.k.a. the Great War, what they called it at the time, that was because of Ferdinand. I bet that dude had no idea what was going to happen. I mean, he had no clue that he was so important, I guess. Or maybe he did, and that was the problem. I don't know. All right, let me reset the camera. We'll hit the first one. God, I cannot wait for this book to be, like, public and available. The audiobook to be on Audible and everything to be done. I cannot wait. This process is a long one. It's hard. I busted through that shit hard. And it still took me basically 4 months. Took me 4 months to get a book out. No matter how fast you're working, it's going to take you 4 months at least, I think, to release a book. And now I start on my next one. I have an idea. I already know what it's going to be about. So it's going to be about some evangelical stuff, basically. Okay, cool. Let's hit it, shall we? Do I have an intro for this? I do. Yes, I do. Okay. There we go. I wasn't getting the audio from it. Sorry.
Should I attend a gay wedding of family or friend? If you are a Bible-believing, Jesus-loving, faithful Christian, I would say no. I would say you shouldn't go to a gay wedding, you shouldn't go to a strip club, you shouldn't go to a drug den, and you shouldn't go to a progressive woke church flying a rainbow flag. Those are all places that are not best for God's people.
Okay, this is Mark Driscoll. If you've never heard of him, I wouldn't be surprised. He's not like, he's kind of coming up. He just hit my radar. And he's apparently he's been a televangelist for a while, or the leader of a large megachurch, an evangelical megachurch. And he's a public figure. He's very, very well known, apparently, in these circles. Just for the record, I don't want to go down this road right now, but the Bible, in my opinion, let me put it this way. In my opinion, Christianity does not condemn homosexuality. Let me rephrase. It doesn't condemn gay marriage. There's nothing about Christianity that condemns it. Yeah, you can find a few verses written in various spots, back in the Mosaic Law, which was fulfilled by Jesus, so completely irrelevant. You can find a verse in, about Sodom and Gomorrah, which was not about being gay, by the way. The complaint was that their ill treatment of the poor, not the fact that, and when they showed up to, investigate, see if there's a righteous man, the problem was mistreating foreigners over anything. So, the Old Testament right out the window, irrelevant. New Testament, there are a few verses, but you know what? None of them were written or said by Jesus, or even quoting Jesus. None of them. Jesus didn't say a goddamn fucking word about being gay. So I don't want to hear it. You know what Jesus did do? He did include women in his service. It's a little weird, right? This whole time we've been told by people like Mark Driscoll and other evangelical extremists, women have no place among teachers or whatever. Well, I guess it depends on the evangelical church. But Jesus didn't stand for that at all. Do these people even know what Jesus stood for? The fact that they're opposed to women being involved in ministry at all, it should be a sign that they have no clue what they're talking about. Have they even read the Bible? I doubt it. Anyway, let's talk about Mark Driscoll and some of the things that he's talked about recently. Dude seems to have this bizarre obsession with trans people and gay people and everything. It's like he thinks about this stuff more than I do. Now, I'm straight, I'm cis, I'm married to a woman, I'm pretty much straight down the line, right? But my job is to cover extremism and hatred against minority groups. And that's what Mark Driscoll does. He is in my wheelhouse. But I got to tell you, man, I hardly think about this stuff outside of this. And all things combined, I think this dude thinks about gay people and trans people more than I do, honestly. Being a part of the community the way that I am. That's weird. Anyway, check this clip out. The last one, by the way, that was early February 2023. The one about gay marriage.
Flying a rainbow flag.
Comparing gay marriage to doing drugs, going to a strip club, or going to a church flying a rainbow flag. Yeah, that was early February 2023. This next one here, this is early March 2023. I just want to give you a baseline idea of who this guy is, okay? Check this out.
Augustine says, one of our biggest problems, we have a bunch of Ahab men who are dressing up like women, feeling as victims, expecting to be compensated so they don't have to go to work.
St. Augustine said that? Is that what he just said? St. Augustine said that? Hold on. Let me just find this out for real. I hard doubt on that one. I don't believe that for a second. Just a cursory glance here. I'm not seeing a word about that. St. Augustine is a famous Christian. And like a philosopher, he helped form out a lot of ideas about Christianity and things like that, if you were curious. Here's like an Encyclopedia Britannica entry about St. Augustine. He born November 13th, 354. He died in 430, August 28th, 430 CE. Hippo Regius, now Annaba, Algeria, feast day August 28th. Bishop of Hippo from 396 to 430. One of the Latin fathers of the church and perhaps the most significant Christian thinker after Paul. Augustine's adaptation of classical thought to Christian teaching created a theological system of great power and lasting influence. His numerous written works, the most important of which are Confessions, 400, The City of God, circa 413 to 426, shaped the practice of, and the city of God, circa 413 to 426, shaped the practice of biblical exegesis and helped lay the foundation for much of the medieval and modern Christian thought. In Roman Catholicism, he's formally recognized as a doctor of the church. Wow, okay. Anyway, that's St. Augustine, if you were unfamiliar. And he's telling me, Mark Driscoll, he's telling me that Augustine said what?
Augustine says, one of our biggest problem, we have a bunch of Ahab men who are...
I don't know what Ahab men means.
...are dressing up like women, feeling as victims, expecting to be compensated so they don't have to go to work.
I have no clue what he's going on about right now. Is he just like making things up right off the top of his head right now? Am I the idiot here? I mean, I'm asking honestly in the comments, in the chat, am I the moron? That's possible. Maybe I missed this quote from Augustine. If so, please correct me. Prove me to be the moron in this situation. I want to be proven the moron. I'm just like, one of us in this equation is, as Greg Locke would say.
I'm dumber than a box of rocks in a lot of areas.
Or as Shane Vaughn would say.
I've lived for the Lord my whole life, and I was dumb as a box of rocks and didn't know it.
The point is, one of us is, pulling facts completely out of their ass, and I'm not sure. Like, somebody tell me in the comments, like, what's going on here. Okay, so he's claiming that, basically the claim that he's laying down is that trans people and gay people, I guess, existed in St. Augustine's day in the 300s and 400s CE, 400 years after Jesus came to earth. And St. Augustine, one of the most influential thinkers in Christianity after Paul, complained about the trans community. That's the claim here.
Have to go to work. He's a Democrat. Now,
is he saying St. Augustine was a Democrat?
Okay.
I mean, this should show you, like, the bizarre lines that this dude's drawn in his head, right? He has found a way to demonize and hate anybody that he doesn't like, even early church fathers, seemingly.
Now.
Okay, I'll just cut that since it... Hey, book order, thank you so much. Barry, appreciate that. All right. So that clip was from 2023, early March 2023. Check this one out. This is from mid-January 2021. Just give you an idea. I want to give you a broad spectrum idea of who this guy is because he released some new stuff that I want to talk about. I just want to make sure, yeah, the new stuff's at the end, so stick around if you want to see the newer stuff, like that just happened.
We saw it this week. There was a congressman. He's a Methodist clergy. He was praying, and I put that in quotes. And he
look, if somebody says they're praying, then they're praying, okay?
And he closed his prayer with amen and a woman.
Okay, I had to go in search of this. Was this real? Or is this just completely fabricated? Because, again, I wouldn't put it past this guy to just completely fabricate something. As a matter of fact, I'd be surprised if he wasn't just fabricating stuff out of the ether. Let me find. I had a... hang on. Where is it? Yeah, here it is. This is the article. I meant to copy this over, but apparently I didn't. All right. Yeah. So, Missouri congressman defends a woman end to prayer. This is from AP News, and the article was written January 5th, 2021. I had never heard of this before, and in my personal opinion, without knowing if he was a Democrat or a Republican, without knowing anything, I think that's stupid. He was just trying to catch attention, right? But okay, let's read this here. Kansas City, Missouri. I mean, Missouri should tell you what you need to know. He's probably going to be pretty far to the right, even if he is a Democrat. U.S. Representative Emanuel Cleaver said he was caught off guard by the negative response after he ended his opening prayer on the first day of the new Congress by saying amen and a woman. Really? That caught you off guard? That's just a weird thing to say. Cleaver, a United Methodist minister and former mayor of Kansas City, Missouri, is in his 9th term in Congress. He told the Kansas City Star his "a woman" reference on Sunday was intended to recognize the record number of women serving in the new Congress. Okay, so it was a joke. So he's just telling a joke, right? But I guess in the context of this guy's little world, Mark Driscoll, you can't joke about this stuff, apparently, right? But it spurred a torrent of criticism from conservatives who accused Cleaver of misunderstanding the meaning of amen, a Hebrew word that means so be it. Republican U.S. Representative Guy Reschenthaler of Pennsylvania incorrectly stated on Twitter that amen has Latin origins, but added it's not a gendered word. Unfortunately, facts are irrelevant to progressives. Unbelievable. So, yeah, I guess it was just, like, fabricated. That seems to be, like, the theme of the night, just fabricated out of the ether. Cleaver said it was a pun intended as a tribute to his female colleagues and to Rear Admiral Margaret Grun Kibben, the new House chaplain and the first woman to hold the role. There are 144 women serving in the House and Senate. The previous high was 129. Okay, so it was a joke. Sounds to me like it was a joke, right? Probably ended and said, amen, and a woman. You know? I can see that. Sure. Okay, so this guy's going to, laugh about this guy not understanding what amen meant?
Which is asinine. Okay? Just tell you what I'm thinking.
I wonder, I mean, the way that he's framing this, it seems like he believes that the word asinine has its roots in the word ass, but it doesn't. I think they're two completely different words, for the record. Asinine etymology, late 15th century, from Latin asinius, from asinus, ass. No, apparently they do have roots. Okay, my mistake. Knowing is half the battle.
Thinking. And they asked him.
Well, I don't want it to be lost, though, before we continue. I don't want it to be lost on us that this guy is, swearing from the pulpit, basically, right? Like our old buddy Hank Kunneman when he was proven to be a false prophet.
Whether you think I'm false or not, if that's what you think, then you can take your opinion and you can shove it.
Yeah. I think I would avoid swearing and harsh language like that from the pulpit. That's just me.
Thinking. And they asked him why. And you know why? He demonstrated a deep and profound father wound.
Father wound? A father? I mean, it seems obvious to me that it was a joke. He was joking. Is this the opposite of what Freud did? Blame everything on your mother? Like your mom is the root of all of your problems? No, this guy has a father wound. Everything is because of people's fathers. Okay, go on.
Well, if we're going to say man, we need to say woman. Sir?
That's not what he said.
Not to get all binary on you, sir. Amen is a Hebrew word that means, yes, Lord, I agree with you.
Well, it means so be it.
Has nothing to do with gender. But when you have a father wound, the word man becomes a trigger.
What? What the hell is he saying? When you have a father wound, the word amen becomes a trigger? I'm sorry, man. This sounds like complete nonsense to me, honestly.
And all of a sudden, you go into critical theory, feminism, your women's studies course, spelled with a Y.
Spelled with a Y? What? Here's another thing. Okay, this is so interesting because it acts as a snapshot in time. Like I said, this video is from mid-January 2021. That snapshot in time, it was a moment in which the Republican Party was demonizing certain specific things. Critical race theory was like front and center, CRT, or critical theory in general. And they claimed that Democrats are trying to change the word Latino or Latina to Latinx. Now, there's no real movement to do that, and there shouldn't be. And if there were a movement to do so, then it should be led by people who speak the language rather than, some randos that live in the U.S. and have nothing to do with that language or culture or anything. By and large, all of that stuff is fake. It's all fabricated outrage to get people whipped into a blood frenzy. And to my knowledge, at the time, I think they were saying Republicans like Mark Driscoll, obviously, we're hearing him say it here. I think that the claim was that we should be spelling women W-Y-M-Y-N. And that includes everybody. I'm not really sure what the claim was exactly. But, it's just like another example of people getting whipped into a blood frenzy over absolute nonsense. Nobody was trying to spell women with a Y. Nobody is trying to push critical race theory on your children or wokeism or transgenderism or the whatever the hell. I don't even know. No one's pushing that stuff, okay? Jesus Christ on a cracker.
All of a sudden, you go into critical theory, feminism, your women's studies course, spelled with a Y, and you act like a drunk. Okay?
You act like a drunk, okay?
And so amen and a woman, it's like, there are and he's part of the United Methodist, which is apostate.
UMC. It's interesting he says it's apostate. The Methodist Church, officially the UMC, just broke off from, it's split in half, basically. I don't know if you guys heard about this. I talked about it forever ago, but how many churches did they lose total? It was basically over their position on gay marriage. Officially, the United Methodist Church Conference, which covers all Methodist churches in the United States, maybe in the world, I don't know. They officially hold the stance that women are not allowed to be preachers and gay people are not allowed, they don't accept gay marriage and they don't accept gay pastors, for example, things like that. But they've been ignoring those rules for a long time. The General Conference has. So the decision makers at the top of the UMC have, they appoint pastors and move them from place to place. And whether they're gay or they're a woman or whatever, they just, they haven't cared. And there was a huge split, like years ago, 5 years ago now or something. But we just got the data after all this time to kind of get an idea of how big that split was. The new one is, what's the new one? Hold on, let me find it. I covered this a long time ago. Let me see if I can find, what did I cover? Is this it? No, this is, 2023. This might be it. Hold on, I'm just trying to find. Yeah, this is a Friendly Atheist article on it. Hemant Mehta wrote this, November 21st, 2023. More congregations are ditching the UMC, United Methodist Church, over an LGBT schism. The UMC is the second largest Protestant denomination in the U.S., more than 12 million members, considered splitting up over the question of whether or not to embrace bigotry. It's the right move. Some relationships need to end in divorce. Yeah, I agree. So just lay some statistics out for you from Hemant Mehta's website here. In 2019, which is around the time that the split was happening, I believe, 53% of UMC delegates voted on a plan that basically rejected LGBT inclusion for everyone formally affiliated with the church. They had until the end of 2023 to make a decision. The next general conference isn't slated to be held until 2024. That meant pro-inclusion churches were going to have to make a decision, accept the new rules and say goodbye to LGBT leaders in relationships and those who wanted to perform same-sex unions, along with all those younger people who would never voluntarily join such a bigoted denomination, or make a break and try to run a church with no support from a larger body, which is very, very difficult. At the same time, after a number of relatively liberal churches said they wouldn't enforce those rules, a bunch of conservative churches vowed to leave if the UMC didn't enforce their ban. Well, they didn't enforce their ban. And a bunch of people left. A bunch of conservative churches decided to leave. Leaving the UMC comes with a massive financial hit. Churches that want to disaffiliate have to pay 2 years' worth of church dues. Wow. And fund their pension obligations. And that's not even considering the churches that rely on financial help from the UMC. And yet, in Georgia, that's exactly what 261 churches will be doing. So there was a big split. I don't remember what the figures were. Yeah, okay, here you go. Of the roughly 30,000 UMC churches across the country that existed in 2019, 7,286 of them have chosen to walk away since then, likely because of this controversy. Side note, this spreadsheet is incredible to watch change over time. Oh, interesting. Wow. Okay. Anyway, what is that percentage-wise? 7,286 divided by 30,000. So they lost about 25%. 25% of their people. That's a lot. But that's not like a death blow to the UMC. I think they changed it to Global Methodist Church. Yeah, the conservative nutcases who didn't want gay people involved changed it to GMC. So now they're GMC, and the old one is UMC. Anyway, this guy says the UMC is an apostate church, apparently.
There are and he's part of the United Methodist, which is apostate. You could go to some of these churches, and their translation of the Bible intentionally omits any reference to masculine attributes of God or us. So
that's false. I actually looked into this pretty closely because I was curious. Is this real? Do they really do that at any of these churches? No. And I'll prove it in a second. Just keep listening here.
Attributes of God or us. So you will not hear that God is Father or that you are a son of God.
That's just false.
They'll use something called the New Revised Standard Version of the Bible. The old Revised Standard Version was a great version. The version that I preach out of, the English Standard Version, is built on that foundation.
Okay, NRSV. This is my favorite translation of the Bible. You know why? Because it's so accurate. It's extremely accurate. It is as accurate as you're going to get as far as Bible translations go. Hold on, let me look. Yeah, okay. So he's claiming that the he's claiming that the NRSV version of the Bible omits any gendered language about God or about us, apparently. I don't know what that means, but okay. That's easily provable, right? All I got to do is just think of a verse where God is presented as a man and see if the NRSV version omits gender there, right? The first one I thought of was the Lord's Prayer. Our Father who art in heaven, blah, 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 hallowed be thy name. so on and so forth. I'm citing the King James Version here, but let me just... I use the NRSVA. It's the NRSV anglicized. That's what it means. So, Matthew 6, 9-13. Let's just read it. Pray then in this way. Quote, Our Father in heaven, hallowed be your name. Huh! Curious. It says, Our Father. I thought Mark Driscoll, pastor here, just told me that the NRSV omits gendered language about God. What happened? Who's lying?
That I preach out of.
I mean, it seems pretty clear to me that this is just a flat-out, blatant, bald-faced lie, right? Does he really believe this? He claims to have all of this detailed information, and he says he went through these translations, and he used to use the old standard version, and, you know, the one he uses now is built on top of the old one, and the new one is... Blah, 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 blah. So he claims to be all this, you know, he has all this knowledge about this translation, but he didn't go to the Lord's Prayer, Our Father in heaven, hallowed be your name, to disprove what he's claiming here? I don't see how this could be anything but a lie. I mean, he's just trying to fearmonger about, like, being trans once again.
Revised Standard Version was a great version.
To my knowledge, for the record, the Bible does portray God as a he, I think. Hold on, I'm just looking. Is God male? I'm just looking for any... Let's see. Is God male? Let's see. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything. Like, there are some standard people that I go to for historical biblical information, and I'm not seeing any reason to think that the Bible doesn't refer to God as a man. So I don't know why they would remove gendered language. But okay. Jesus Christ, evangelicals never lie. Thank you so much for the super chat. Just stopping by because you cover the things you do. A true American patriot. I appreciate that. I consider myself one. Absolutely. A true American patriot. We got to reclaim that. Quit it, you little bastard. Go. Scratching my chair. Anyway, I appreciate it. You didn't have to do that. That's awesome. Rep Cleaver is my representative, and he's a standard Democrat and not a bad guy. Okay, yeah, it sounded like a joke to me, honestly. Anyway, just stupid. Eric Wander, welcome. Hi, Owen. I got a good one for you today. Kenneth Copeland did a Western movie in '92 called The Gunslinger. You should watch it, Law. Oh, I should. Oh, that'd be super interesting. I mean, I've got a couple of Copeland movies, just clips from those movies. He tried to be a singer, too, for a while there. It's bad. Anyway, let's keep listening. I will check that out. And thanks for being a member for so long, Eric Wander. And welcome.
The old Revised Standard Version was a great version. The version that I preach out of, the English Standard Version, is...
Wait. They use male because Hebrew is masculine over feminine words. There are no... Wait, I'm sorry. I'm having trouble reading this. They use male because Hebrew is masculine over feminine. It's in Hebrew, default in mask. Okay, interesting. Well, Hebrew was the Old Testament and partially Aramaic, I think. Or maybe it was spoken in Aramaic and translated to Hebrew. Anyway, the New Testament, the Greek scriptures, that's what I was reading from just a minute ago. But anyway, I have no reason to believe that they removed gendered language from the NRSV anyways. I use the NRSVA in everything. It's the most trustworthy version, in my opinion. All right, let's keep listening to this nutter buttery.
The version that I preach out of, the English Standard Version, is built on that foundation. The New Revised Standard Version started off with a father wound as the translation.
What the hell does he mean, father wound? Are we getting Freudian up in here?
As the translation command. Remove all masculine language.
What?
So it doesn't say that God is Father and you're a son of God.
That's just false. I'm looking at it right here. Our Father in heaven, hallowed be your name. Are you kidding? He's just like full of it.
You can go to one of those churches and they can read the Bible to you. You can be there your whole life. And because the father of lies was overseeing the translating, he's lying to you that you have a real father.
Okay, my God, dude. Everything this dude says is either confusing as hell or just seemingly a lie. Like a easily disprovable lie. Dude, shameless. Listen to this one. This is another, it's hard to say that things are lies because you don't know the person's intent, and lie depends on intent largely. But you know what? Intent is commonly established in courts by showing a pattern of behavior, right? You're not in someone's head. You don't know what they want to do or what they meant or whatever. But if somebody has a series of unfortunate accidents over and over and over and over and over again, like, oops, I accidentally said the name of somebody who is a juror and could be intimidated. Oh, my bad. Oops, I accidentally said another juror's name. Oops, sorry. At a certain point, it's pretty obvious. That's how intent is established. That was a flat-out lie, it seems to me, right? Now listen to this lie that he tells, in my opinion, the lie that he tells here. This one is from mid-August 2023. Listen to this.
And there was one guy, I was a young pastor, was in my 20s, and he would come up and talk to me after the sermon, and he had the craziest ideas about Jesus. And so he was telling me a story, and we were...
I mean, this dude has crazy ideas about Jesus, so...
talking. And then as he was telling me a little bit of his life story, his countenance changed, his posture changed, his voice changed, his personality changed. And it got very aggressive and very combative and very arrogant.
Sorry, I'm chewing. Yep, I know some Trump supporters that do that kind of thing. Mark Driscoll is on the far right and falls into that category of nutcases that is really extreme and defensive over his extreme ideas. So yeah, totally. I'm on board. I've seen it. Go on.
And
I've seen it from people like him. Go on.
Very arrogant. And I just asked, I said, who are you? And his voice changed. Hair stood up on my arm.
Totally. His voice changed. I believe it.
Said, I'm the one who's been teaching him. I said, what's your name? It said, Jesus. I said, Jesus of Nazareth, Jesus the Son of God? And he cackled. It was haunting. He said, no, not that Jesus. It was a demon who took the name Jesus and deceived a guy who was confused and troubled.
Okay, well, why didn't he, continue with the confusion then? Why didn't he say, yes, that Jesus, now follow me? I mean, it's just completely made up, right? Obviously. Dude is fabricating this story. And it seems thought out to me. It feels like he's really put a lot of time and attention into detail. Just shameless, man. Okay, so he claims that apparently demons can pretend to be Jesus and confuse people, even though the Bible says that demons shudder at the name of God or something like that. Doesn't he believe that Jesus is God? By the way, Jesus isn't even Jesus' name. Jesus' name was Yeshua, probably pronounced Yeshua, like that, something to that effect. my mouth doesn't like make the correct movements to enunciate the correct vowels in the right places and stuff, but something like that. The A is kind of dropped off or left hanging, like Yeshua, like that or something. Anyway, why would he say that he's Jesus?
I rebuked him in Jesus' name. I said, the Lord rebuke you. All our authority is delegated. I prayed for the Holy Spirit to come into the conversation. The man came back present, and I told him what had happened. He received Jesus. He became a Christian. We baptized him, and he got delivered.
I thought he was already baptized, delivered, and a Christian, and just had a bunch of wacky ideas that he had already accepted. What are you talking about? This dude is completely full of it. How many times? Okay, this is just not true. This did not happen. This guy is telling us that this event took place, and it didn't. It didn't take place. Can I be comfortable in calling this a lie? This is a lie, right? I'm trying to establish a pattern of behavior here. This seems like a lie to me. The last one seemed like a lie, like not a factual inaccuracy, like, oops, I got this wrong. It seems like he's just straight up lying. Okay, now that brings us to our most recent video from this guy. Give this one a listen. This one released mid-March 2024. Check this out.
Everything God creates, Satan counterfeits.
Before we go into this fully, remember that there's a trans panic happening right now, so that's what he's going to focus on.
So let me go deeper. So I was sitting on my vacation. So I was sitting on my vacation, and I started.
Oh my God, I was muted. Son of a bitch, I've been muting. I'm sorry, guys. We gotta call his publicist. How long have I been muted? I've been muted for a while. I don't think I've been muted for a while. Anyway. Why is he using air quotes when he says sitting on his vacation?
I was sitting
Air quotes.
on my vacation.
Why is he using air quotes? We got to get a hold of this dude's publicist. We got to get answers. Let's figure this out. Was he sitting on his vacation or not?
And I'd never heard this or read this my whole life, that the demonic realm is transgender, non-binary, on a spectrum, and that men who are going to serve the Jezebel spirit have to be castrated and become defiant of their God-assigned gender and sex.
Okay, so I'm trying to pick up what he's putting down here. Correct me if I'm misinterpreting, but I think he's saying that Satan is trying to push people to be trans, and they should be... Is it they should be castrated or they are castrated?
On a spectrum, and that men who are going to serve the Jezebel spirit have to be castrated.
It sounds like he's saying if they're going to serve the Jezebel spirit, then they have to be castrated. Well, there goes bodily autonomy. Fantastic. These people don't seem to understand the concept.
And become defiant of their God-assigned gender and sex.
Oh, God, it's just so hard to know what's going through this dude's head at any given moment. Like, I can't tell if that's what he's saying or not, but honestly, you know, the most important thing that I feel I can derive from this, series of videos that we just watched, the most important thing I can derive from Mark Driscoll and condense into a single question is, did he sit on his vacation or not?
Fits. So let me go deeper. So I was sitting on my vacation.
Air quotes, sitting on his vacation.
On my vacation.
Anyway, let me know what you think about this dude. I think he's terrible. Tell me what you think in the comments. All right, let me put an editing break in. I'm not going to do a mid-roll. Hang on. I will mention my book, though. Check it out. owenmorgan.com/book. It's done. I have to place the order. I'm going to do that tomorrow. And they will be shipped to my house. I think it takes 2 or 3 days, business days, to print them. And then they have to travel by ground. And it takes, it's 8 large boxes that weigh like a ton. I don't know exactly how much I weigh, but it's a lot. Anyway, they have to be shipped here, and I have to find somewhere to temporarily place them while I shove them into envelopes, print off little stickers, print off shipping labels, slap them on there, throw them in a cart, do the next one. I'm going to do signed copies and everything. So that's what I'm going to be doing next week. I'm placing the order tomorrow on Monday for the books. And then all next week, I'm going to be shipping, printing, shipping, printing, shipping, printing, shipping. Signing, writing special notes. People ask for special messages, so I'm going to check their messages. I'm going to write special messages and everything. It's going to be complicated, for real. But man, I cannot wait till it gets out there into the world. Anyway. Yeah, check out my book. I would really appreciate that. owenmorgan.com/book. It would mean a lot to me. Audiobook and ebook are on their way. Hi, Owen. I got a good one for you today. Kenneth Copeland did a Western movie in 92 called The Gunslinger. Oh, yeah, I hit that one. I should give that a look. Nerico, welcome. Way off topic. Did you feel the earthquake? Funds for the feline overlord Tailbass. Appreciate it. Yeah. I was standing in my living room. So I live in New York City. I live in Manhattan. And I stood up out of my chair to go get coffee. And my wife says, the house is moving. And I was like, no, it's not. I'm just, I'm standing in the middle of the living room. I'm like, no, it's not. I look over to her and she's like bouncing up and down on the couch. She's like, yes, it is. The house is moving. We live in a big apartment building. And I didn't know what mechanism this is happening. Or I didn't know the mechanism through which this was happening, but I knew that I didn't feel movement because I was standing stationary in my living room. But I could clearly see that she was bouncing up and down on the couch, just sitting there because of the springs and the cushions and stuff. So I knew something was happening that I didn't understand fully. I just didn't know what it was. But yeah, it lasted like a good 20 seconds, I think. 30 seconds, maybe. It was crazy. It was very weak. No structural damage to my knowledge. New York City builds their buildings to, deal with earthquakes, to my knowledge. We have big struts under larger buildings and giant metal balls that kind of give the building sway, give it the ability to sway to some degree. It's survived hurricanes and all kinds of natural disasters, earthquakes included, in the past. So anyway, yeah. I didn't feel it, but I observed it, and my wife felt it, so yeah. Pretty interesting. That's my first time ever being in an earthquake. And Neil deGrasse Tyson is in Manhattan also. He works at the Hayden Planetarium on the west side. So he's probably 2 miles away from me or something. And he tweeted out, details about the earthquake. Earthquake felt in New York City. It was very clinical, very scientific. Earthquake felt in New York City at what was it? Like, was it maybe 10 a.m. or something? At 10:33 a.m. or something, approximately lasting 20 seconds, so on and so forth. It was pretty interesting. Nothing scary about it. To me, but I know that if it was a higher magnitude, it definitely would have been scary. The thing is, like, I'm a lot of floors up, so if something happens to the building, that's it. Yeah, I'm gone. Just say goodbye. That's it. I discovered recently too, I'm incapable of climbing beyond, say, 20 floors. Hell, I can't climb past 7 floors. It is... I thought I was in better shape, like, 145 pounds, and I'm 6 foot tall, and, I can run, I can do all kinds of shit. Like, I'm physically fit, but I cannot go up 7 flights of stairs. I came to find. Not capable of doing that. That was where I was like, all right, I'm taking the elevator now. Think you might like the original Twilight Zone. Oh, yeah, I watched the original a lot when I was younger. It was very interesting. There are some really good episodes. Try the elevator. Well, see, there was a problem. Not to get too specific with it or draw this out more, but apparently there was a large water heater on the top of our building. Apparently that's where a lot of water heaters are stored, top of the building. It helps with water pressure and stuff, apparently. And the water heater caught fire on the top of our building. We're talking, like, it's a tall building, very tall. We're talking dozens of stories high, put it that way. It's a high rise, so 35 or 34 stories. So on the 34th floor or something, apparently this water heater caught fire and fell, and just like water went everywhere and it was pouring down. It was just insane. And it was directly above the elevators. So I'm like, you know what? I'm not taking the elevators. Forget it. I'm fit. I'll go up the stairs. So I hit the stairs, and I make it up 7 flights. I was like, I can't do it. I can't. So I step out. I hit the up button for the elevator. This happened like a month ago. As I climb into the elevator, I can feel water dripping from between the wall and the elevator. It was dripping on my head. I was like, I'm out. I'm doing the other, 20 something or whatever, 15 or 10 or whatever it is. I'm doing the rest. And I was like hyperventilating by the time I got up here. I was in such bad shape. Oh, I can't do 7 stories, man. I discovered that. I don't know how the firefighters on 9/11 made it up. I think they climb 100 stories in remembrance every year on 9/11. A lot of people do 100 floors because, that's how tall the World Trade Centers were or something like that. I don't know how they do that. That's crazy. Owen, please move down a few floors, lol. Largely, things are pretty safe. I think things are safe. Anyway, Destry Jordan, thank you so much for the message, or I'm sorry, for the super chat. Eric Wander, once again, thank you for the gift. I appreciate it. That's the shit. You did not have to do that. Don't forget, owenmorgan.com/book. I would appreciate it. Also, if you've already made a pre-order and you want a copy of a copy of the PDF, message me on Etsy, and I'll send one to you. I'll send a copy of the PDF to you, okay? Yeah, I just came to find it's a lot more complicated than just mass sending it out to everybody. It's really complicated, actually. So I simplified it, but I have to do it on a person-to-person basis. So if you want a copy, message me on Etsy. I'll send you one until the print copy comes, which is still like a week away because I have to order them. It takes a few days to print. Then it takes, a few days to a week to ship. And then I have to sign it, put it in the envelope, and then print the label, slap it on there, bring it to the post office. There's a little bit of a process. But if you want the ebook ahead of time, then you can, just message me and I'll give it to you. Anyway, thank you again, Eric Wander. Yeah, love the copious amounts of emojis there. I should really add special emojis, like more emojis. A while, what was it, like last year before, I paid somebody to draw emojis of my cats, Kashmir and Miki. I should add those as special emojis for my channel members. Can I do that? Maybe I can do that right now. Let's see here. Settings, community. There's gonna be a way to do that, right? Hey, book order. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thanks, Robert. It's fantastic. There's got to be a way to do this, right? Customization, branding, basic info. Wait, layout, members. There's got to be a members section, right? Members. YouTube, add custom emojis for members. Go to the memberships page, select edit on your badges and emoji card. Oh shit, you know what? I don't even know where those emojis are now. What the hell did I even do with those things? All right. Well, I was hoping to do it on stream to encourage you guys to get memberships, but I don't even remember what I did with the emoji. Probably in my artwork folder, maybe. Let's see here. Movies, transfer.
No. We'll do it live. Fuck it. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live. Fucking thing sucks.
Thought you guys might be bored to tears, so I decided to play that. Hey, another book order. Thank you so much, Hope. I appreciate it. Miki. Wait, cute Miki? No, that's not the one. Hold on. Where the hell did my emojis go? I had emojis, I swear. All right, I'll find the emojis later. But rest assured, in the next stream, you will have access to emojis if you want them. Of Miki and things. Anyway, sorry for that little deviation. Destry Jordan, hey Owen, I've been watching your content for what feels like forever, and you've never stopped pumping out videos. Have you ever felt demotivated? It doesn't seem like you always. I'm sorry. It doesn't seem like it. Doesn't seem like it. You always bring your A game. No, never felt demotivated. I feel like I feel like I have too much on my plate, and I need to bring it down, or I need to outsource the work to somebody else, because there's a lot of stuff that there's just too much work. Too much. I can't run all of this myself. So, yeah, there's that. But no, never felt down or demotivated. Never felt like not getting on stream. I love hanging out and talking to you guys. It's fantastic. It's like the highlight of my week to get on here and just chat and do this stuff, you know? It's fun. Just hanging out and chit-chatting and looking through the chat here and the super chats and everything. By the way, what is up with people who scream at their chats? Like, what the hell? People really get angry at their chats? Get help. My God. Anyway, all right, let me reset the camera. We'll hit the next story, okay? I haven't received any messages from anybody yet on Etsy telling me that they want a copy of the ebook, so I'm assuming everyone is okay with waiting for the moment. I hope. If so orders are supposed to ship in mid-April. That was the original expectation. That's the original date that I listed, mid-April. And that's going to be pretty dead on, actually. I was hoping to have it done long before then, but it just, it's hard to release a book, especially in such a short amount of time. But if orders start going overdue a little bit, then I'll start sending the ebooks out to people and like brute forcing it, if nothing else. But anyway, yeah. Okay, cool. Let's hit the next one, shall we? I'm good with waiting. Okay. I appreciate that, Narikal. Actually, Narikal, I'm not sure which person is you because it has information in there that's listed different from what we see on YouTube. So, just like, I won't send you the ebook. You're okay with waiting. That's fine. But send me a message so that I know that it's you. So I know which account is your book. I'd appreciate it if you have a minute. I mean, you don't have to do it now, just sometime soon. All right, let's hit the next one. Let's see, just pulling it up here. Guys, do you remember that song? Do you remember Limp Bizkit? Fred Durst? You remember them? And that song that was modeled after Mission Impossible? I Know Why You Want to Hate Me or whatever. I know why you want to hate me. Where the hell is the next video? Here it is. All right, this one is going to be a little bit controversial, probably. Could get me in some hot water. But you got to do what you got to do. Okay. Richard Dawkins stuck his foot in his mouth. I'm sorry to say. Look, Dawkins is in my circles. I know people that know him, that have talked to him, that have had him on their YouTube channels and stuff like that. I've worked with people who've worked with him. I could probably get a hold of him if I wanted, if I tried hard enough. It would be a challenge, but I think I could do it. So this is personal. Richard Dawkins stuck his foot in his mouth, and I'm not taking this lightly. I feel like I need to criticize the dude for what he said here. So I want to listen to this radio interview that he did here on LBC, Britain's Conversation. I don't know what it means. Something Britain's Conversation. Listening or learning Britain's Conversation. I don't know. Anyway, yeah. Interviewer was Rachel Johnson. This came out by the by. When did this release? This came out April 1st, 2024. So just give this a listen. You'll see what I'm talking about in a second.
Professor Dawkins, it's very good to have you join us to discuss whether it matters that Christianity is playing a diminishing role in national life. Welcome to LBC.
Thank you.
And what would be...
So Christianity's playing a diminishing role in people's life? I mean, I guess in Britain, maybe.
And what would be your Easter message? I mean, I've said a few things. What would you tell the nation?
Okay, leading into this, I just want to point out, Richard Dawkins wrote the book, The God Delusion. And he even talked about Jehovah's Witnesses and quoted from one of their books in that. And it was hugely influential and helpful to me to hear somebody break down Jehovah's Witnesses nonsense the way that he did. So Dawkins has done a lot of good for a lot of people in helping them realize the nonsense that they believed. That, high control religions, help them out of high control religions, help me out of it, a high control religion. But at this point, it's just, oh yeah, and he's the inventor of the word meme, really. M-E-M-E. He invented the word meme. He's an evolutionary biologist. Very intelligent and reputable and knowledgeable person. So respect where it's due. But I'm wary about what he has to say in this.
Well, I must say I was slightly horrified to hear that Ramadan is being promoted instead. I do think that we...
Wait, Ramadan's being promoted instead of Easter? In Britain? Is that real? Okay, I'm sorry. I gotta find this out. I have a hard doubt on this. Oh my God, dude. Fox News picked up on it. I didn't even see this video. This is just stupid. Famous atheist. This is from Fox News. Fox News, quote unquote. Famous atheist says he identifies... all right. You know what? Before we look at the Fox News article, keep listening here. Ramadan is not forcing, like, people to stop celebrating Easter or whatever. Like, what the hell are you talking about? It's called multiculturalism. Are you not allowed to, like, celebrate Easter and Ramadan simultaneously if you want? Can't this guy celebrate Ramadan and this one celebrate Easter? Is that not possible?
I do think that we are culturally a Christian country. I call myself a cultural Christian. I'm not a believer. But there's a distinction between being a believing Christian and being a cultural Christian. And so
he means, I guess, that he's he celebrates a lot of Christian holidays, or a lot of holidays that are traditionally associated with Christianity, right? Okay.
You know, I love hymns and Christmas carols, and
I don't at all.
I sort of feel at home in the Christian ethos. I feel that we are a Christian country in that sense. It's true that statistically the number of people who actually believe in Christianity is going down, and I'm happy with that.
That's true.
But I would not be happy if, for example, we lost all our cathedrals and our beautiful parish churches.
Okay, this blows me away. You think that people wouldn't find other things to be motivated by or inspired by? It's like radical evangelicals saying, if you didn't have Christianity, you wouldn't have Michelangelo or Donatello or, I don't know, who are the other two Ninja Turtles? I don't remember. Anyway, you wouldn't have those people because they were painting beautiful paintings for cathedrals, for the churches and things like that. You wouldn't have that kind of inspiration. Well, yeah, you would. You just have that kind of inspiration for other things rather than Christianity. That's it. I'm sorry, my inner atheist is coming out. I don't normally talk about this on stream because it's not the line that I want to draw. Like, I don't care that much. I would rather draw the line between us and extremism. But this is ridiculous. The fewer people... Okay. It's virtuous to believe more true things than false. Right? Can we agree on that? It's a good thing to believe as many true things as possible and as few false things as possible. That's good. Now, if that's the goal we're aiming for, then in ideal worlds, there would be no kingdom halls, right? There would be no Mormon temples because these people would just like snap out of it and realize and say, oh, this is just nonsense. Let's shut the temple down. Let's shut the kingdom hall down. I mean, it's a pipe dream. It's not happening, but just imagine with me for a second. Now, Richard Dawkins is disagreeing with that assessment. Apparently, he's saying, I don't want to live in a world where there are fewer kingdom halls and fewer Mormon temples and so on and so forth. What? This dude got pulled into something that I saw happening in 2014. It was this, in fact, he kind of sparked it inadvertently. God, Gamergate and Elevatorgate, and it all just blended together, and it was so much drama, and it was widespread drama. It was like all over the place. Anyway, Richard Dawkins was like tangential or involved to some degree in all of that. And it basically sparked the anti-SJW, what would be considered today the anti-woke crowd, to come out of the woodwork and start screaming about wokeism and wokeists and gay marriage being bad and all this other junk. Like, atheists on YouTube were anti-woke by and large. And Richard Dawkins fell into that rabbit hole. And that's where he is now, seemingly. See, in Britain and other European countries, they have a unique situation that we don't have in the United States, really. Not in the same way. In the U.S., we have people coming over the Mexican border because there's a big opening there, a humanitarian corridor that leads to a refugee center where they can seek asylum status, right? That big hole in the border must be there so they can request asylum status by international law. Anyway, there are people coming over the border and, you know, as expected, Republicans fearmonger about it like mad. Talk about how Muslims are coming to get us in their terrorist cells and they're building an army, all kinds of other ridiculous nonsense. Well, in Britain, Muslims are the Mexicans of Britain or of the EU. Muslims are escaping extreme countries, or they're escaping oppressive countries or war-torn countries or underdeveloped countries. You know, Yemen is very war-torn. It's in a bad position right now, Yemen is. And people, refugees, are coming into European countries, France, Germany, hell, the UK, and trying to survive, trying to make a life. And guess what? When they get here, they're Muslim. Richard Dawkins is the British version of a right-winger, effectively, screaming about immigration and how bad it is and all this other nonsense. In reality, immigration is actually phenomenally good for a country. It builds its economy to have more workers in it. Russia has to pay women to have more children if they want a baby boom. We don't have to do that in the U.S. We have immigrants coming in like mad. Or we have immigrants who want in like mad. Like tons of people want in right now. We can build our economy easily and quickly, like crazy quick. So Richard Dawkins fell for this whole anti-immigrant line, sadly. And as I agree with him that Islam is destructive and damaging to people's lives, and in an ideal world we wouldn't have Islam because people just wake up from it and realize this is nonsense, the people still deserve respect and human dignity, right? And if they want to celebrate Ramadan, let them. How does that affect you at all? Dawkins seems to be claiming that Ramadan is replacing Easter? What? What are you talking about? It's replacing Easter. Makes no sense. Anyway, okay, so he's a cultural Christian and he would be sad if he saw fewer kingdom halls and fewer Mormon temples and fewer Scientology buildings. Okay, go on. You've lost me already, Richard. By the way, I'm friends with a lot of people that know him in all seriousness. Outside the YouTube sphere, I know every member of the board of directors for American Atheists personally. Like, sat down and hung out with them and chatted. I know the board members of the Secular Student Alliance and the president, and got, like, you name an organization, and I probably know some of the higher ups in that organization. Not a huge fan of Dan Barker, but that's a story for another day. The people at the tops of those organizations, the people that I just listed that I sit down and chat with, are likely friends of Richard Dawkins because he's such like a mainstay in the atheist movement. And they've been in the atheist movement for, 30 years, and they're like litigation counsel for whatever, They're out there actually fighting legal battles and stuff like that. So it comes with a degree of risk for me to do this. Like, am I going to piss somebody off that I've been friendly with, that sees me at conferences and says hey and hangs out and drinks with me and stuff like that? I might be isolating myself by doing this, but I feel it needs to be said.
Is going down, and I'm happy with that. But I would not be happy if, for example, we lost all our cathedrals and our
in our kingdom halls and our Mormon temples, huh?
beautiful parish churches. So I count myself a cultural Christian. I think it wouldn't matter if we...
Like, I'm a cultural Jehovah's Witness in that I grew up as a Jehovah's Witness, but I want to see all the kingdom halls disappear. Ideally, there wouldn't be a single Jehovah's Witness left because they'd all leave the religion. They would leave it all behind, and they'd be left with nothing but the governing body members sitting there with nobody to rule over. By the way, I wrote a book called 100 Questions for Jehovah's Witnesses. It's a booklet, actually. It's a small book, about 80 pages long, and it's basically a set of 100 questions posed to Jehovah's Witnesses and the governing body that I want answers to, that I have not received answers to. 100 questions. We have the description here. Where the holy heck did my thingamajigger go? Wait, I just had it. Where was it? It's in my book projects? Oh, I see. Hang on. Yeah, here we go. Okay, book covers, artwork. Is this it? Yeah, this is it. You know what? I'm just going to keep these up. Pop that puppy up, and I'm going to... What is this? Yeah, I'm going to pop this puppy up. This is 100 Questions for Jehovah's Witnesses, front and back cover. This is Understanding Jehovah's Witnesses. This is a much longer book. It's 400 pages, and it's my story mixed in with Jehovah's Witnesses history and some of their more destructive policies and things like that. So anyway, yeah, check it out. owenmorgan.com/book if you want to give it a read. Sorry, I just want to take a little deviation there. Let's keep listening.
Count myself a cultural Christian. I think it wouldn't matter if we substituted any alternative religion. That would be truly dreadful.
Yeah, okay. I don't want to substitute another religion. I would like to see a situation in which we separate from religion entirely. But if somebody wants to celebrate Easter, they should be allowed to. If someone wants to celebrate Ramadan, do it. Right? Am I missing something?
Truly dreadful.
Well, which brings me to my supplementary point, which is that, as we know, church attendance is plummeting, but the erection of mosques across Europe, I think 6,000 are under construction. And
No way. Really? There are mosques being constructed? Uh-oh. I don't even believe that. I'm sorry. Hard doubt. There's this ridiculous anti-Muslim fear-mongering campaign tantamount to the anti-immigrant fear-mongering you hear in the United States. Like I said, I don't like Islam either. I'd love to see Islam erased. I would love that. But Muslims should be treated with dignity while they're here, while they're still Muslim. And I really don't care if they're building more mosques. Go nuts. Build as many mosques as you want. Fantastic.
I think 6,000 are under construction, and there are many more, are being planned. So do you think...
Many more. Weasel words. How many more? What are you talking about? Who said this? Where'd she get that information? Is this even real? Because I looked up a source for something that was already said in this by Richard Dawkins, and his source was the Daily Mail. The Daily Mail is absolute ridiculous nonsense. It's not news. It's propaganda. That's it. It's propaganda. And I could be wrong, but didn't the Daily Mail as a company side with Hitler back in World War II? Okay, so it appears that there are roughly 1,700 mosques in England. You trying to tell me that there are 6,000 under construction and many more planned, quote unquote, and there are only 1,700 total, 1,700 that exist right now? Everywhere that I'm looking, like I'm just looking through here, I just typed in mosques in Britain. I typed in how many mosques are under construction, Britain. And I'm getting insane, like Facebook. London closes 500 churches, opens 423 new mosques. Just some Facebook page from a random person. Saudi Gazette, Muslim London, 423 new mosques, 100 Sharia courts. Not a single reputable source among any of these. I'm just trying to figure out if there's any kind of anything here. Okay, we're looking at, apparently now there are about 2,000 mosques, according to British Muslim Magazine, whatever the hell that is. I'm sorry, man. Like, I feel like I have to fact check every word out of these people's mouths, and that's sad.
Land. So do you...
Oh, she said 6,000 in Europe? Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, that may be accurate. Yeah, okay. Wait, so 6,000 are planned in Europe. That's a little more plausible, but there are still only 7,838 mosques in Europe as of March 15th, 2024. 7,838. You're telling me that they are currently right now doubling the number of mosques that they're building? Like right now. And they're planning, quote unquote, many more, whatever that means? I'm sorry, man. Hard doubt.
Do you regard that as a problem? Do you think that matters?
Of course he does.
Yes, I do, really. I mean,
Again, I don't like Islam. Again, I'm going to say this until I'm blue in the face. I don't like Islam. In an ideal world, it wouldn't exist. But these people have a right to live their lives and do what they want to do.
I might just choose my words carefully. I mean, if I had to...
He has to choose his words carefully because his position is dumb as dog shit, and he knows it is. I'm sorry, man. I don't like insulting people. I don't want to be that guy that bags on people all the time. That's not who I am. So I'll let Greg Locke do it for me.
I'm dumber than a box of rocks in a lot of areas.
Thank you, Greg. I appreciate your input on the subject.
Choose between Christianity and Islam. I choose Christianity.
Sorry, step back a little bit.
I just choose my words carefully. I mean, if I had to choose between Christianity and Islam, I choose Christianity every single time.
I'm not sure that that's justified. The extreme elements of both sides are equally as extreme as each other. They're equally as bad, especially in the United States. Oh, my God. Is there as much extremism in Christianity? Do you see it as prevalent as it is in the Muslim world? No, probably not. It's not as prevalent in Christianity. There are more moderate Christians than there are moderate Muslims. Additionally, Islam hasn't shaken off theocracy yet. They're still in theocracy mode. Christianity is on its way back to theocracy mode right now. They're trying to create a theocracy in the United States. I don't think they're going to succeed, but they're trying anyway. But Christianity and Islam are equally as bad. There just aren't as many extremists right now in Christianity as there are in Islam, in my opinion.
In Islam, I choose Christianity every single time. I mean, it seems to me to be a fundamentally decent religion.
Are we talking about the same Christianity? Are you serious?
way that I think Islam is not.
Okay, so Christianity is a fundamentally decent religion in a way in which Islam is not.
I think you're going to have to explain why you say that,
Yes, please.
Professor Dawkins. Why is Islam fundamentally not decent like Christianity?
Yes, I mean, the way women are treated. I mean, Christianity is not great about that.
No, it's not. As a matter of fact, all right, we'll put it this way. Yes, I guess you could say Islam is worse. I'm thinking about the most extreme elements. We can address whether there are more extremists in this one than this one or whatever. We can debate that. There are more extremists in Islam than there are in Christianity right now. Like, population-wise, I think. But let's just take the extreme elements, like the fundamentalists. Let's talk about the fundamentalists. Is Christianity worse for women on a fundamentalist Christianity? Or is fundamentalist Islam worse for women? I would say fundamentalist Islam is worse for women, but they're both bad.
It's had its problems with female vicars and female bishops and things. But there's an active hostility to women, which is promoted, I think, by the holy books of Islam.
It's promoted by the holy books of Christianity, too. It's just not followed as closely.
I'm not talking about individual Muslims, who, of course, are quite different.
Oh, thank you for that, that little hedge that you gave us there.
But the doctrines of Islam, the Hadith and the Quran, is fundamentally hostile to women, hostile to gays.
I agree.
And
well, for the record, the Bible is used by fundamentalists to impose hostility on gay people and women in the exact same way. So, it doesn't really matter if the Bible is or isn't hostile toward gay people. It's irrelevant. The fundamentalists think it is, and that's what matters.
I find that I like to live in a culturally Christian country, although I do not believe a single word of the Christian faith.
Just for balance, should we say something about fundamentalist Christians who, we can see abortion rights, reproductive rights being rolled back in Republican states in America. So Christianity is still not without its problems when it comes to women.
It's just bizarre to me that this conversation is even happening with Richard Dawkins. What the hell is going on right now?
And their rights.
Well, you didn't ask me about Christianity in America. That's
No, you're talking about extremist Muslims. Not every Muslim is an extremist. There are like 1.5 billion Muslims in the world. They're not all extremists. And there are roughly as many Christians, give or take. They are not all extremists either. But the extreme elements of each. He's talking about the extreme elements of Islam. I'm talking about the extreme elements of Christianity, too. So he's saying, well, let's just talk about the extreme elements of Islam and leave, like, the extreme elements of Christianity to one side. Like, we're not discussing that right now.
About Christianity in America. That's a different matter entirely.
Okay, all right. Well, I'm sure we got some fundamentalist Christians here, too, but not as public.
Well, insofar as fundamentalist Christians oppose evolution and think that the world is created.
That's not, that's bad. That's not what I care about as much. I mean, I certainly care about that, but I'm really more concerned with the fact that they're trying to take over the government.
Oppose evolution and think that the world was created 6,000 years ago. I mean, that is pernicious nonsense, of course.
Pernicious? Okay, pernicious. Having a harmful effect, especially in a gradual or subtle way. Sure. I suppose I can agree that's pernicious. Not accepting evolution as the fact that it is. But that's like the headline that you're going with, the lead. The problem with Christianity is their refusal to accept evolution? Does this dude live under a rock? What is going on right now?
Right. Well, so I think I see where you come from. I like the phrase you're a cultural Christian. I think I'm a bit more than a cultural Christian, although...
Again, I'm a cultural Jehovah's Witness. I mean, I left the culture behind, but that's my heritage, I guess.
You know, it does, my belief waxes and wanes. Would it be a good thing or a bad thing if we became a less Christian country? And just on the...
It's bizarre to me that she even has to ask this question of Richard Dawkins.
You know, the foundation of this nation, with the king being the head of church and state.
Which I don't like at all either. They have a state church there. He's the head of the church and the state. Are you kidding me? There shouldn't even be a monarchy, but okay.
The head of church and state. Do you think it provides a solid foundation that we would lose something if, let's say, there was a Muslim majority?
Oh, please don't say what I think you're going to say.
Well, yes. I think the king, when he was Prince of Wales, was actually rather sympathetic towards Islam, and one of the problems I felt. No, I think it would be a terrible thing. And insofar as Christianity can be seen as a bulwark against Islam, I think it's a very good thing. I mean, in Africa, for example, where you have missionaries of both faiths operating, I'm on Team Christian side as far as that's.
What the hell is happening? What happened to this dude? When you're dealing with missionaries in or on the continent of Africa, you're dealing with extremists, largely. I think it's mostly Catholics, right? And some Protestant denominations do it. And they are deeply destructive to the area. Like, they spread nonsense about birth control and about, condoms and all kinds of other really harmful things that get people killed. And you're on Team Christian. You know you can be on team none of them, right? Why are you picking Team Christian? You can be on team, I don't like what the Catholics are doing on the African continent, and I don't like what the Muslims are doing on the African continent. What the hell is happening? The saddest part about this is Fox News came out and wrote an article about this. Seriously. Famous atheist says he identifies as a cultural Christian and is horrified by promotion of Islamic holiday, Ramadan. What the hell is happening? The hell? I don't know. Oh my God, dude. Can I, is there no audio here? There's no audio. Okay, they're not giving us any audio, apparently. Let me just read what Dawkins is saying. God, I hate this player. It's terrible. It's binary, no question about it. You're either male or female, and it's absolutely clear. You can do it on a gamete size. Oh, he's talking about trans stuff. Okay. A famous atheist and evolutionary biologist, Richard Dawkins, explained he identifies as cultural Christian in an interview after learning Ramadan lights were hung on a street in the UK as opposed to hanging lights to celebrate Easter. Do you hang lights for Easter? Dawkins was referring to Mayor of London Sadiq Khan turning on 30,000 lights for Ramadan, the Muslim holy month, on the cusp of Easter weekend on Oxford Street. I must say, I'm slightly horrified to hear that Ramadan is being promoted instead, Dawkins said in an interview with Rachel S. Johnson of LBC Sunday. I feel that we are a Christian country. My God, dude. When Fox News is advocating for you and using it and using the things that you say in their propaganda, you know you've done something wrong. Somewhere along the way, something went wrong. Oh, now look, he said some really terrible stuff about the trans community too, needlessly. And they're quoting him on this also. Oh my God, dude. He called out bullies who criticized Harry Potter author J.K. Rowling for commenting that there are only two sexes. Why did they put Harry Potter in quotes? It should be italicized, I came to find. Anyway, J.K. Rowling is effectively a right-wing scumbag at this point. Doesn't she work with, like, Ben Shapiro and stuff now? Pretty sure she does. What the hell is happening? What happened to the atheists, the old atheists? What happened?
Sound.
It's interesting because I sort of thought that you would be more of a Hitchinite, God is not great advocate, but it's interesting.
Hitchens wrote a book called God is Not Great, Why Religion, or How Religion Destroys Everything It Touches, or something to that effect. God is Not Great is the antithesis of Allahu Akbar, which means God is great. So I don't know. I thought the way he titled it was a really interesting, he titled it in an interesting way.
Hitchinite, God is not great advocate, but it's interesting to me that you see the value and the force for good of the United Kingdom having a Christian foundation.
Yes, but I must emphasize that I think that the things that Christians believe are actually nonsense. I mean, I think that...
Yes, we caught that. You think evolution is real and all that other stuff. Yep, got it. Okay.
When you say you waver, I wanted to ask you, do you actually believe that Jesus had a virgin for a mother? Do you actually believe he rose from the dead? I suspect
well, weirdly,
you don't.
since you ask, Richard, if I may, because I was at New College when you were are you still a don at New College? Yes.
Well, I'm retired.
You're retired,
yes,
but you don't look anyway. Weirdly, I was just 3 weeks ago at the Church of the Holy Sepulchre in Jerusalem, where the Christians believe that Christ was crucified, or there was the tomb, and the Gethsemane was just there, and Golgotha.
Why was she there? In Jerusalem? Is that what she said? Or in Israel anyway? Touring, like, where Jesus died and stuff? That's weird. I never thought about taking a Jesus tour. Yeah, the hill, I believe, that Jesus died on was called Golgotha.
Was the tomb, and the Gethsemane was just there, and Golgotha was there.
Golgotha. And
I have to admit that there is a real force. I mean, it feels like the fulcrum of three world religions. It really does. And Christianity is palpable there. The place pulses with Christianity. I don't know whether it made me believe the Bible anymore, but I certainly felt that Jesus was a historical figure. Yes, I did believe that.
Well,
so he's asking, or she's asking, is he a mythicist? Does he think that Jesus was real? I think Jesus was probably real, and I'm not basing that on a personal assessment or an opinion. That's what the consensus of scholarship has to say on the subject. And I listened to extremely intelligent scholars who know this stuff like the back of their hand and have no investment in this. They're atheists, some of them. Like Bart Ehrman seems to believe that Jesus was a real person. Why does he care if Jesus is real or not? He doesn't. For that reason, I think that Jesus was probably real, and he probably was crucified, and it was actually on a cross, not a stake, the way the way Jehovah's Witnesses claim.
Wrong to think that?
No, I mean, that's quite different, but do you...
I'm sorry, step back a little. Listen again.
Jesus was a historical figure. Yes, I did believe that.
Well,
am I wrong to think that?
No, I mean, that's quite different, but do you believe that his mother was a virgin?
Well, I mean... Maybe that was a mistranslation of...
It was a mistranslation, actually. Matthew mistranslated the prophecy about the Son of Man from the Old Testament and thought that it said that the Son of Man had to have a virgin for a mother, when it didn't actually say that. It said a marriageable young woman. Or just young woman generally. A young woman will give birth to blah, blah, blah. So yeah, she's correct in saying, I mean, she's joking about it, but no, that's actually true.
Maybe that was a mistranslation of... Well, that's biologically impossible, isn't it?
Of course it is, yes.
Well, I mean, I mean, I used to make a joke that most second children are virgin births because you can know. Anyway, we don't
No, please tell the rest of the joke. What?
want to go into that.
Yeah.
Second children are virgin births? I cannot think of a way in which that could be formulated into any kind of coherent sentence or joke or anything.
But yes, you know what I'm saying. Were you pleased that Rishi Sunak talked about Christian values in his... He said Christian values are British values in his Easter message. You seem to be on the same page.
Yes, I didn't hear that, but
that's what he said.
Yes, I suppose so. But I don't want to be misunderstood. I mean, I do think it's nonsense. But the Christian.
Well, guess what, Richard? You were misunderstood by people like Fox News. Is there any surprise that this is going to be used in right-wing Christian extremist propaganda? What are you doing, Richard? What are you thinking? What's going through that head? He fundamentally views the world in a completely different way than I do. That's the problem, I think. I want to live in a world with fewer kingdom halls. I want to live in a world with fewer Mormon temples. But you know what? I want those people to be allowed to celebrate whatever holidays they celebrate if they choose. And I want them to feel represented by it. I want them to not feel like they're being drowned out by other, cultural whatevers, the way that Muslims probably feel in Britain or the rest of Europe right now. What the hell is happening right now? This is insane.
I do think it's nonsense, but the Christian belief. I mean, today is Easter, and of course I don't believe that Jesus rose from the dead, and I don't believe you do either. Do you?
Do I believe that Jesus rose from the dead? I mean, you're really putting me on the spot. I would like to believe he did. Yes, I mentioned the resurrection.
Different.
I mentioned the resurrection.
I mean, who wouldn't like to believe that he rose from the dead and there's something on the other side of this after you die? Everybody would like to think that.
By the way, just quickly, because I've been told we've got to stop. When my son was 2, we took him to church, and the priest said, "You can ask me anything." And he said that my 2-year-old son asked the priest, "Do you know Jesus to be true, or do you believe Jesus to be true?"
That's an interesting question.
I
mean, I don't know if that's a true story, but okay.
True. And do you see what I mean? And he couldn't answer that question himself.
Oh, he would have given an answer like, I know he's true, probably.
Anyway,
yes.
Oh God. Anyway, listen, lastly, just one thing. Does it matter, I'm going to ask you again, if Christianity is a minority religion in this country?
No. The answer is no. Doesn't matter.
I think it matters from a cultural point of view.
That's a very clear answer from you, Richard Dawkins. Thank you so much for joining us from, I look like New College, but Richard Dawkins, Prof. Dawkins, is the renowned evolutionary biologist, author of The God Delusion.
This is sad, man. This is Richard Dawkins. I mean, Dawkins already fell from grace for all intents and purposes. He said some real transphobic stuff, like really deeply harmful stuff. And look, I know that he's viewing this through the lens of like a British person living in Britain. But if you don't have a full and complete understanding of American politics and how propaganda is used against certain communities and things like that, and you have a platform, you have no right to talk about it. He shouldn't be contributing to the conversation unless he has a very firm grip on the situation, on how this is used against people. And now Dawkins is on Fox News, being used in propaganda on Fox News. I hope he's happy with himself. This is just sad, man. Tell me what you think about it in the comments. I'm just so disappointed. Let me take a short break. Actually, I'm just going to reset the camera. Hang on. By the by, got a book order. Ardith, thank you so much. I appreciate it. And I got a message from somebody about some stuff. So anyway, yes, thank you. That's awesome. And I got another alert right when I closed my watch, but it didn't show up. Anyway, thanks for the book order. That's awesome. What? What do you want? Oh, it's 10:06. He's supposed to be fed between 10 and 10:30. At 10:06, he just starts bitching nonstop. Just won't shut up. Oh, God, I got him started. I shouldn't have pretended to be him. Damn cat. No. My wife will come out and feed him in a couple of minutes. All right, let me pull up the next one. What was the next one? It was, hold on. I swear, I don't know how these keep getting closed, but... Wait. Yeah, here we are. Wait. Yeah, here we go. Again, I'm going to shout this out until I'm blue in the face. Check out my books. If you haven't already, Understanding Jehovah's Witnesses. This is about 402 pages, give or take, I think. And it's kind of history of Jehovah's Witnesses and their doctrine through the years and how they affect people, and my own personal story and how it affected me. Kind of a snapshot of the religion in time from the 90s to the 2000s, 2010s. I was reading through some stuff about Jesus. Was Jesus crucified, or did he die on a stake? Because, Jehovah's Witnesses claim Jesus died on a stake. And I did just an insane amount of research to figure out how Jesus actually died. And how do we know that, It was definitely a cross. If Jesus is a real person, then it was definitely a cross. Not a stake. Jehovah's Witnesses quoted their own literature, their own books and publications as a source for why they claimed, or for why they believed that this Jesus died on the stake. Really. I'm not joking. Again, I talk about all of that in the book if you want to take a look at it. Then I have 100 Questions for Jehovah's Witnesses by Owen Morgan. This is a shorter, I think it's 80 pages. And it's more of a booklet. I would appreciate it a lot if you guys took a look at some of these, or take a look at both of them. By the way, you only need one because 100 Questions is included in Understanding Jehovah's Witnesses. So if you just get this one, then you don't need to get the second one. But yeah, it's the last chapter. But anyway, yeah, check it out. I'd appreciate it. owenmorgan.com/book. Hang on, let me just... Oh my God. Drag and drop these puppies over here. Close. And then open the next one. Where is the next one? 31 Unfiltered. 407 Fireside. Yeah, this one is... Oh my God, this is insane. Oh my God, dude. There's a lot of anti-trans stuff happening right now. I don't know if you guys have noticed this. We'll hit it in a second. Make sure it goes to Croc Bites. It will do. I can do that. I actually have a couple bags in there right now. I could probably go grab one real quick. Thanks for exposing this side of religion, especially with it embedded in our government. Absolutely. Yeah, I appreciate you coming. Thank you for the super chat, Sarah Christine. That is awesome. Hi, Owen. Huge fan. Love your videos. Well, I appreciate it. Glad you're here. Glad you're watching. All right, let me go grab a Croc Bite real quick. I can't resist. Hang on. And while I grab a Croc Bite, I'm going to play some music for you. It's actually a pretty good tune, right? I kind of like it. Yep, got my crock bite. Now I have to chew, and you guys got to listen to the song again. While I chew. While I chew, you have to listen to the song. This shit's so good. Last bite of the crock bite. I have filters here too.
I understand this one makes me sound like I just inhaled some helium. Is that right?
And this makes me sound like I'm a kidnapper?
This one is called large robot. And this one is called small robot.
I don't know what this just says. Ducking. I don't know what this is. And then I have a center beep. What the? Wait, I'm not hearing the center beep. That's weird. Are you guys hearing it? It appears you are hearing it. Why am I not hearing the center beep? Huh. Weird.
I'm dumber than a box of rocks in a lot of areas.
Very strange. Anyway. Lol, the new toy is great. Yeah, it's pretty good. I like it a lot. Glad to finally have a soundboard. A lot of people have soundboards, and I didn't. And I really should have had one long before now, honestly. Anyway.
I've lived for the Lord my whole life, and I was dumb as a box of rocks and didn't know it.
Hey, Owen, bought a signed copy of your book. Also, my daughter started dancing with the music you put on. She's 2. Oh, that's funny. It's a pretty good tune, right? I'm a fan. Sorry, gotta put a stop to the music. And now everybody's sad. And I have a laughing clap, or I have a clap track too. Or I'm sorry, yeah, a clap track. And I have a trombone. And then weirdly, I have chimes. This is the last one. Last one aside from the air horn, of course. Anyway, all right, I'll stop. Sorry. Oh, yeah. And I also have this.
No. We'll do it live. Fuck it. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live. Fucking thing sucks.
I love it to death. I love everything about it. Anyway, okay. Yeah, that's good. I'm glad I could entertain a 2-year-old. All right, let me reset the camera. We'll hit the next one. I'm sure you guys probably noticed, but there's this bizarre trans panic happening. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of Darman. Darman, he's a guy on YouTube. I've never seen one of his videos, but apparently they're very shallow and empty and vapid and terrible, but they have some kind of a moral message to them or something, and they have super clickbaity titles every single time, and it's just, I don't know, it's bad. Well, anyway, this is a Darman ripoff kind of. I think the dude's name is Samir or something. I don't remember the guy's. Wait. Samir Bhavani. Bhavnani, 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 Samir Bhavnani. He's a YouTuber, got a couple million subbies, for real. Couple million subbies, okay? And he's releasing some absolutely insane anti-trans stuff. Like, you wouldn't even believe it. Just watch this Darman ripoff. Coming up.
Hey, son. What's going on here?
I borrowed some of Mom's fingernail paint.
Okay, cool. So?
Doesn't it look cool, Daddy?
What's the zoom in shot about? Is he all freaked out about his kid having nail polish?
My beautiful baby boy. I love you so much. I'll always be there to take care of you, my son.
See, this acting is just bad. It's bad. But it's not the actors. It's the style. This is what they do. This is kind of the style of Darman, you know? The Darman videos with the moral message or whatever. The moral messages in Darman videos, to my knowledge, are all pretty vanilla. You know, be a good person and care about others, whatever. Again, never seen one before. But these Darman ripoffs, man, some of them are just straight propaganda. Anti-trans, anti-gay propaganda. It's insane.
Son. Oh, good catch, son. Future Hall of Famer right there.
Hey, Howard. Hey, great barbecue you got going on here today, man.
Hey, Jim. Thanks, man. No problem. Always fun to have a get together.
Well, thanks for the invite.
Dude, it's so fake.
I know Alexa really loves it.
Alexa? I didn't know you had a daughter. I thought you had a son. Where is he? Sorry, Jim. Did I say something wrong?
Well, it's not Alex anymore. It's actually Alexa.
You changed his name?
Well, I didn't change it. And it's more than just his name that's changed.
Oh, that little girl is Alex? Isn't he or she too young to make that decision?
It's the day in schools, Albert. I agree.
Oh my God, dude, it's so painfully stupid. They're portraying this as a real situation, of course. I covered this video forever ago on my unfiltered YouTube channel, but I felt it deserved a full beginning to end, you know, discussion on a bigger channel, like on one of my bigger channels. So here we are listening to this absolute insanity. It's the dang school, Albert. It's the dang school. The dang school is convincing kids to turn trans. Get a grip on reality, people, please.
It's the day in schools, Albert. I agreed to let my son take these sexual education classes, and then this happens.
Whoa, really?
Give me a break, man. You know what happens in sex ed classes? I know what happens in sex ed classes. I'll play it for you. Because in West Virginia, we were basically we were like threatened with having our house burned down because I reported a teacher for saying this stuff during sex ed. It's a long video, so I'm not gonna like, you know, go through the whole thing. But basically, the teacher said, here, just listen. This is a little bit of, this is an actual sex ed class that my kid actually attended.
Okay? And the one thing is, I'm hoping that you all are brought up by a good family or person, whoever's raising you, that they're teaching you right from wrong, and that it's not okay to be sexually active. If you look at the Bible...
What does the Bible have to do with anything?
It says, sex isn't for love, it is for what? When is the time you should?
When I'm banging your mom.
After marriage. After marriage. I've got so many kids that were so against me in my first and second period.
Really? So many kids so against you in first and second period, huh? So many kids so against. Name the kids. Tell me who it is exactly. Which ones? I don't believe a single kid was against her. You know why? Because my kid was against this, and we reported it to the Board of Education, and they did an investigation, and it lasted 1 day, and it ended with her exoneration. And then I got people threatening to burn my house down and taking pictures through my windows in the middle of the night. That's the cost of disagreeing with people, with teachers in health class, actors of the state, where your kid is compelled to sit and listen to what this person is saying, and this woman is pushing one religion over another by saying this stuff. This isn't the only message either, by the way. There's a whole bunch of anti-trans and anti-LGBT stuff in here.
You would have a heart attack. It makes me sick how they believe.
Yeah, all those kids in her first and second period, totally.
And I'm thinking the upbringing that you guys are having from your parents. I'm not saying nothing bad about your parents.
Yeah, she is.
It's just different nowadays, and I hate it. They say all you do is you.
I mean, she came out with her name, Miss Ashworth. That's who it was.
Everything you're teaching about sexual transmitted disease stuff, you keep referring back to the Bible. And I said I almost said because I'm right.
Well, you could say that, but that's not a reason.
But you can't force somebody to believe in God.
Well, what did you say?
And that's whether you do or not. That's your opinion. But I just can't get my head into there where people.
And that's what's actually happening in sex ed classes, if you wondered. There's more. She went on to trash the LGBT community and trans people specifically in that video. That is what is actually happening right now, today. That happened just a couple years ago. So yeah, it's these sex education classes that you're agreeing to. Totally, absolutely.
These sexual education classes, and then this happens.
Whoa, really? I got that same email a few days ago from the school, Jim. I thought Sammy's was too young. But hey, we had sex ed. What's the big deal? So I agreed to let Xavier go.
Well, it's not the same as it used to be, Albert. Yeah, when we're...
Yeah, it's literally exactly the same as it has always been, with some modifications being updated to reflect accurate, modern scientific understanding of things.
Growing up, they used to separate the boys and the little girls.
Yeah, they still do that.
And talk about very gender-specific traits.
Yeah, they still do that. I mean, that's what happens in sex ed classes, yes.
And now it's about everybody being equal, and you decide your gender in this class.
No, that's not what happens.
The things you like.
Oh my goodness, seriously?
No.
Yeah, Alex just said he liked that singer Billie Eilish.
Billie Eilish?
Or whatever her name is. That's one of his favorite performers. And that opened up a can of worms. Yeah, so the teachers started pointing out that he might be a little girl trapped in a boy's body.
Wait, so how's your wife dealing with this?
Well, it's hard, Albert. It's really hard on the family. Yeah, the next day, Alex started wanting us to call him Alexa.
The next day, Alex was trans.
Well, at first we thought he was kidding, but then he started not to want haircuts anymore. I'm an 80s guy, Albert. I'm not used to this type of stuff.
Yeah, man. Things are different now.
Okay, my God, dude. This drives me insane. I can't stand hearing people say this. Hang on, I have a clip for this. Not a clip, but a quote. I have a quote for this. Let me see if I can find it. I'm hoping I have it still. Let me find it. 1 second. Shoot. Where did I put it? It was, podcast. Wait. $317. Hang on. I had a whole outline with list of quotes. Okay, 1 second. Is this it? Who said it? Damn, I had it all laid out and cleaned up, and now I can't find it. Son of a bitch. Damn, that really sucks. I wish I still had those quotes. I have to find them later, but all the way back in the 1300s, I'll see if I can insert the clip from my video where it talked about this later, but all the way back in the 1300s, people were complaining about women these days acting like whores. They're going out and dressing up all slutty and sleeping with whoever they want. 1300s. Japan, seriously. 1930s, they were saying the same stuff. Same exact stuff. 1970s, 80s, 90s, 2000s. Kids these days, man. Kids these days. It's not like it used to be. They're all slutty and they're dressing up like whores and they're going out and sleeping with whoever. Same shit, different year. It's a joke. Things are not any more different now than they have ever been. This is just how society works. Society changes and grows and morphs and evolves. That's how it works. Welcome to reality. First time? They're not even in reality right now.
I'm not used to this type of stuff.
Yeah, man. Things are different now. I'm all for trans rights, but the grooming's too much, especially at a young age.
Seriously, it's not happening.
Seriously. Back in the day, you know, there were haters that went out of their way to persecute the LGBT community, you know, which I'm totally against. Nobody should be hated on for who they are. But also, it's too young for a kid's mind. They're still learning about life and who they are.
I agree.
This is just painfully stupid. Oh my God, dude. You know what this reminds me of? I don't know if you guys remember this. Doug Mastriano got 40% in the governor's race in Pennsylvania 2022. Where is it? Yeah, here it is. This is from early October 2022. This is like a month before the election. Mastriano comes out and makes this announcement. And this is, you know, part of his standard rally. Like, this is no different than anything else that he said.
On day one, the sexualization of our kids, pole dancing, and all this other crap that's going on will be forbidden in our schools.
Pole dancing in our schools will be forbidden. He doesn't really think there's pole dancing going on in our schools, does he? This is all just propaganda, right? When I see things like this right here, like this guy talking about Alexa and all that, it makes me wonder, do people really buy this?
On day one, all the pornographic books that are in elementary schools will be pulled out.
Right, because, you know, they're trying to push this stuff on children, of course. This is just embarrassingly cringy.
So Jim told me some news about...
Whoa, hold on a second now. Are you portraying a man getting his own food? That doesn't really jive with the traditionalist attitude that I've been getting from this video this whole time. The mom is a feminist, isn't she? She's got to be a feminazi. I can see it already.
So,
and this poor man has to get his own damn food. The gall of feminazis.
So Jim told me some news about his son, Alex.
You mean Alexa?
Oh, you know?
Yeah.
Don't you think it's a bit young for him to make that change?
What's the big deal?
Okay, so right off the bat, you can tell that they're portraying her as an evil bitch, right? Because she's like slamming her keyboard, just hitting that thing, like making noise, you know, for no reason, just sitting there completely flat-faced. What's the big deal, huh? Why do you care? What's the big deal? Like, God, dude, tone it down just a little bit. I'm begging you.
For him to make that change?
What's the big deal?
Oh, I mean...
You're hearing this, right?
It's not a big deal, but he's saying they groomed him in that sex education class. I'm thinking maybe we shouldn't send Xavier.
Seriously, Albert? I didn't realize you were so transphobic.
What? Come on, Raven.
Great. You know what? You don't want to send your kid to sex ed? Then you have to sit the kid down and have that talk with them. Do you really want to do that? You know what happens? I know what happens because I was pulled out of sex ed class. I was exempted from it. You have to have a special waiver. The family has to tell the school, no sex ed for our kid. We'll give it to him. And you know where I got my sex ed from? I got my sex ed from the youth book, Your Youth, Getting the Best Out of It. It's a red book. It was primarily used in the 70s and 80s. I think actually I used the Young People Ask book, not the youth book, Jehovah's Witness literature. We did have a youth book sitting around, but we didn't really use it much. It was a YPA book, Young People Ask. But there are some choice quotes from Jehovah's Witnesses in these books. Oh my God, dude. Hold on. I actually wrote a book about this subject. I wrote 100 Questions for Jehovah's Witnesses, 80 pages, and Understanding Jehovah's Witnesses, about 400 pages. This is the 100 Questions cover. This is the Understanding Jehovah's Witnesses cover. But in the 100 Questions book, this is the smaller one. It's more of a booklet. Wait. Where did I put it? I wanted to pull it up and find it. Hold on. I'm just going to give you a couple of quotes from the book that I wrote, 100 Questions, because I did a ton of research for it. Hold on. Let me find it. Where the holy heck is it? Book covers. Final draft. 100 Questions. Non-commercial with cover. Yeah. Okay, cool. Something unique I did about this book, or did with this book, I guess. 100 Questions for Jehovah's Witnesses. Instead of copywriting the book as I normally would, as I did the other one is copyrighted. This one is attribution non-commercial, Creative Commons. So you can modify, you can copy, you can transfer, and you can whatever, but you cannot sell it. You can add to it and you can give it to other people, but no selling it. You can even get a copy of it and send it to printers and print like 50 of them to hand out to Jehovah's Witnesses, you know. And I don't have to get like any of that. That's all you. That's a unique license that I added to this book. But hang on, let me just find the section here on the LGBT community, because it's wild. Some of the research that I did for this is nuts, dude. Wait, did I put it up front? No, page 6. Hold on. Wait a second. I'm trying to find it here. Shunning, paganism, leaders. I think it's at the end. No, maybe not. Hold on. I'm just trying to find. Okay, yeah, here we go. Sorry, it was page 11. Okay, here's just like one example. This is question 16. Why did Jehovah's Witnesses claim that touching yourself would turn you gay? Jehovah's Witnesses have had a book for young people for years. Today, it's a Young People Ask book. In the 70s, it was the youth book titled Your Youth, Getting the Best Out of It. Here's what the youth book had to say about homosexuality. Quote, in fact, masturbation can lead into homosexuality. In such instances, the person not satisfied with his own lonely sexual activity seeks a partner for mutual sex play. This happens much more in nature than you may realize. Contrary to what many persons think, homosexuals are not born that way, but their homosexual behavior is learned by touching themselves, of course, you see. And often a person gets started when very young by playing with another sexual parts and then engaging in homosexual acts. Why are they putting this in a book for children that's supposed to be teaching sex ed? What the hell is happening right now? Question 17. I didn't actually write this question. This is written by one of my editors. Why isn't the majority of the human population gay? I answered it, though. It's well studied. Touching yourself is well studied. Scientific consensus is it's completely normal and even offers health benefits. 96% of the population does it. So we would expect to see a 96% rate of gay men, if that were true, if there was a correlation, right? It's obvious that they just straight up lied in this book. I don't know how it gets more obvious than that. Hang on. Why do Jehovah's Witnesses think being gay is wrong? Question 18. The Bible meant... Oh, yeah, I've talked about that at length. I'm not going to get into that at this immediate moment. Hold on. Yeah, okay. That's... Yeah, you guys... You're going to have to get the book if you want to read the rest. But the point is, some of the stuff Jehovah's Witnesses said was wild. Oh, my God, dude. It was crazy. Actually... There was one more thing I wanted to read. Okay, yeah, here we go. There's one more little section here I wanted to read. This is from Jehovah's Witnesses Watchtower, August 2023, page 6. Okay? Quote, some even tried to bully our young ones into breaking their loyalty to Jehovah. Note, for example, what happened to a young man named Graham. By the way, Jehovah's not God's name. I talk about it at length in the book. You're just going to have to get the book if you want to find out more. Who lives in Australia. He faced a challenging situation when he attended high school. The teacher asked the class how they would react if a friend confided in them about being a homosexual. This is 2023, guy. 2023 when this came out. The teacher said that all in the class who would support a friend in pursuing such a lifestyle must stand on one side of the room, those who would not on the other side. What point would there be to doing this? Like, what? I can't imagine a situation in which this is real. This is fabricated, right? Graham says the entire class stood on the side that supported that lifestyle, except for me and another witness. Jehovah's Witness is being persecuted again, right? What happened next was a real test of Graham's loyalty to Jehovah. Quote, for the rest of the hour-long class, he says, the other students and even the teacher taunted and insulted us. I did my best to defend my faith in a calm and reasonable way, but they didn't listen to a word I said, end quote. What effect did this test of loyalty have on Graham? He says, I did not like being the target of such verbal attacks, but I felt incredibly happy that I was able to defend my beliefs without compromise. Jehovah's Witnesses, Watchtower, August 2023, page 6. Absurd. These people are absurd. The scenarios that they draw aren't even realistic. I don't believe that that happened anywhere, ever. Now, is there a possibility that some of these individual pieces might have happened at some point in time, like in one school district? Yeah, maybe, I suppose. And maybe one teacher in one school district in the United States told one class of kids, hey, if you want, you don't have to be a man. Like, you can be a woman. Like, it's possible for you to be who you are. If you're trans or whatever, then you can come out and be who you are if you want. It's possible that's happened once. But this portrayal of some systemic, top-down, like, intent to force kids to change their gender or to pick their gender in class or whatever. Or like Jehovah's Witnesses said, like Graham, as if that has literally ever happened. I'm sorry, I don't believe that's ever happened, ever. Separating kids like that? No, that doesn't happen. It just doesn't. You know when I was separated from class? For Valentine's Day, for Christmas celebrations, for birthdays. I wasn't allowed to eat the cupcakes. I wasn't allowed to sing the songs or sit around with the other kids. I had to sit in the corner of the classroom and wait for all the festivities to come to a close. That's when I was separated. This is just a joke, dude. These people are so far out from reality, I can't even see them from where we are. By the way, check out the book, owenmorgan.com/book. I'd appreciate it.
I'm not transphobic. I just want a son to be...
A son?
And you don't have a problem with that?
No. If our son is happy being a boy, then let him be a boy. If he decides otherwise, then let him. Whatever makes him happy. What exactly is really the problem, Albert?
That's exactly right, yes. Let him be happy. Whatever he wants to do. Period. You may not understand this yet. I'm speaking to the guy here. This guy may not understand this yet, but he will come to find that kids eventually, sooner than he expects or thinks probably, kids are going to make up their own decisions, make up their own minds about their lives, and form out their own personalities. And you can't stop that. That's just what it is. In fact, some kids have their personalities and their ideas about certain things formed out by the age of 6. You know, I know one kid who discovered that he was gay at 6 years old. Anyway, just let them do what they want to do. It's their life. If you don't like what they're doing with their life, then get the fuck out of it. That's the way I see it.
Really the problem, Albert.
It's just he's too young to make that decision.
But he's not too young to play Mortal Kombat and rip people's heads off. Or steal cars playing Grand Theft Auto.
Okay, I don't know. I'm just like, what link did any of this have to do with anything?
Those are video games.
You know his favorite character in Mortal Kombat is Katana. Maybe that's who he wants to be in real life.
Okay, a lot of supposition. I mean, even the ridiculous, fake, over-the-top feminazi character they've got going on here is giving ridiculous suggestions. This is absurd. Nobody would ever think that they're trans because they like playing, what was the character's name? Kitana in Mortal Kombat. That's not why people, that's not the reason, let me rephrase. People don't turn trans because they like playing Kitana in Mortal Kombat. There's a lot more to it. I'm sure I don't even need to say that. All the arguments she's giving here are surface level garbage, and they're not representative of any real information, any scientific information, any real arguments that anybody ever gives.
That is Katana. Maybe that's who he wants to be in real life.
I think he picks her because he finds her attractive.
Oh gosh, now you're mansplaining. Wake up, Albert. It's a new age. I really don't think this class is going to be a big deal.
All right, I got to tell you guys. My wife is a feminist. My kid is a feminist. I'm surrounded by feminists. And I am not politically correct to any degree ever. I mean, the way that... let me rephrase. When Republicans talk about being politically correct, it's because they want to use the N-word. So I don't use the N-word for what that's worth. But I just, I speak my mind. That's just how it is. If I say something that, like if I call somebody, Indian instead of Native American or something, and that's a problem for them, then I just fix it and I move on with my life, right? Not a big deal. I've never in my life, I'm trying to be sure about this, I don't think I've ever been accused of mansplaining or manspreading, ever. Like, these are not real things that people really do or talk about.
I don't think this class is going to be a big deal. It's going to teach our son about all genders. It's good for him. I know you wanted a boy over a girl. Is that what this is all about?
It's not about that. I wanted a girl as much as I wanted a boy, but...
You know what? It seems like you're getting upset. Should I set up an appointment with our counselor?
No. It's okay, Raven. It's cool. I'm cool. You can take the class.
Okay, thanks. I have this work to focus on.
This is so cringy and terrible. It just makes me want to vomit. Oh my God, it's bad. So now they're going to go to the school and talk to this feminazi teacher, right?
Okay, great class today, kids. Xavier, can I see you for a minute?
Sure, Mrs. Karen.
Xavier, you're such an amazing child. I wanted to talk to you about something that happened today in class.
The kid's eyes completely vacant, you know. And it'd be totally forgivable. Like, he's a kid. He's not an actor, right? Doesn't know how to portray emotion on his face yet because he just hasn't learned that skill yet. But it's like every character in this show is like that, practically, except for the feminazi. Apparently, she knows how to show how she's an absolute evil maniac.
What is it?
Well, I noticed you put male as your gender in class.
I am a boy.
Well, there are a few things that I noticed about you that might make you think otherwise.
Huh?
I mean, you wear earrings, you have beautiful long fingernails. Are you sure you're a male, Xavier?
The kid just... So he found himself some nail polish. He's putting it on. Okay, so who cares? Let him put on nail polish. Why do you care? I mean, nobody... In all seriousness, if this was really happening, if this exact situation were playing out as portrayed, I'd be upset. I would be down there at the school getting on the teacher's case also and explaining to her why this is not okay. Kids should be free to make their own decisions and live their lives and be guided by their parents to hopefully a life that is most beneficial to them. And if they... and it will come to a point where they're forming out their own identity. They're forming out their own personality and their own ideas about who they are and how they feel and all that stuff. Completely independent of you. Whether you like it or not. And if they realize that they're trans or they're gay or they're whatever, that's what it is. It's not like a failing on your part. It's not a bad thing by any stretch of the imagination. It's just who they are. That's just what it is. Them portraying a teacher as like brainwashing children like this is just like the height of ridiculousness.
Hey, son. What's going on here?
I borrowed some of Mom's fingernail paint. Doesn't it look cool, Daddy?
Not really. I mean, I think the look you'd be going for is pretty, not cool, right? If you wanted cool, then you put black fingernail polish on, or maybe put a tattoo of yourself on, you know, paint a tattoo on or something. That'd be cool.
Why are you painting your nails?
Miss Karen, our teacher, mentioned how good nails I have.
Her name's Karen. Miss Karen.
Painting them instead of cutting them.
Oh.
It looks cool, right, Dad?
And there's a Barbie next to him. For the audio audience, if you're listening, there's a Barbie on the bed next to him.
He's painting his nails, Raven. He said he learned it from some girl in class.
What's the big deal if he has girlfriends?
Okay, I'm sorry. Let me step back. Listen again.
He's painting his nails, Raven. He said he learned it from some girl in class.
What's the big deal if he has girlfriends?
Yeah, I don't see why it matters. Let him paint his nails if he wants. He's figuring out his own identity. Kids do this.
Seriously, Albert?
His teacher, Miss Karen, she instigated it.
Okay, if she did, that's a problem. Seriously. In all seriousness. If that was really what was happening, I would be up in arms. But it's not. This is literally, in my opinion, never happened in the history of ever.
By saying his nails are nice? It's not a big deal, Albert.
Raven, I find it a big deal. And I set up a meeting with the school and teacher. I need to see what's going on.
Fine, Albert. You're worrying too much about this. When is it?
Tomorrow afternoon.
She's infuriated again, apparently. She's just the stereotype of a raging bitch, of course. Slamming her keys, like hitting them as hard as she can. God, dude. Did you guys hear that ding just now? Or was that Is that an audible ding to you guys, or I hope not. Just in case. Just looking through the chat here, making sure it's not audible. Fitty for the kiddies. Love you, man. We'll email you soon. Got something of an idea for you. Appreciate that, LRJ. Thank you so much. Is this Lou? It's Lou, right? It looks like your writing style, if it is Lou, and it's an L for the first initial, so I'm assuming it's Lou. I'm just looking through. Nobody heard the ding. Okay. I guess it was on my other computer. Anyway.
I wanted to pull our son out of sex education class. I think it's too soon for him.
What, Dad?
Albert, what is this? We didn't discuss this.
So you're saying you guys don't agree?
I don't think a 7-year-old should be learning this. I think it's too young for him.
But I like it, Dad.
I understand, son.
Albert, come on. You're making a big deal out of this.
Mr. Unger, this class was formulated by experts. Your son missing this class may leave him behind in knowledge that other kids have.
Yeah, okay. The experts, the scientific experts, are not formulating the idea that kids need to be trans or whatever. This is just fabricated.
It also helps.
Yes, it's Lou. Well, okay, I thought so. I was just making sure. Sorry, so back.
It also helps with preventative measures. I mean, you don't want him getting your girl pregnant at 13, do you?
I just feel like you're grooming him into being something that he's not.
Albert, seriously, I can't believe you're talking like this.
Well, I mean, in this show, she is. But this doesn't ever happen. Like, ever.
Sir, I apologize, but this is coming off as phobic.
I'm sorry, Mrs.
Phobic of what? What is it phobic of? She didn't even put, like, something at the front of it. She just said phobic. Just fearful. This is coming off as fearful, I guess.
I'm sorry, Mrs. Karen. Albert, I need you to go wait in your car.
What? No.
You are causing a scene, and you need to go calm down.
She's very obviously the one causing the scene. Again, stereotype trope of a raging bitch.
I won't tell you again.
I won't tell you again, she says. Oh my God, dude.
And you need to go calm down. I won't tell you again.
He says fine.
Such toxic masculinity.
That is not what toxic masculinity is. Toxic masculinity are traits that are damaging to men, generally. Not to other people or whatever, but to men. Like the fact that women are socialized to know when it's okay, or women are socialized to cry. I mean, there's no problem with crying for women, right? But men do not cry. They hold all their emotions in, bottle it all up, and it explodes. Or they eat themselves alive with stress or hate or sadness or pain or blah, 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 whatever. That's toxic masculinity because it's bad for the man. It's toxic for him. The being masculine to the point where he refuses to cry is bad for him. Needs to be able to express his emotions in a healthy way. That is what toxic masculinity is, not what's being portrayed here, where she's yelling at him because he doesn't want his kid to be in this class, and he says, fine, and then stands up and leaves.
Such toxic masculinity.
And by the way, why is the kid sitting next to the teacher? That would not be happening. There's like a weird power imbalance happening here, but okay.
Masculinity.
Seriously.
I see here you both have different last names.
Yeah, I didn't want to change my last name.
Typical feminist. Wants to keep her own last name, huh? Very empowering, she says.
Very empowering.
Thank you.
This is ridiculous. This is my son. I should have a say-so on what he's learning.
This is dumb as dog shit, dude. Like, I don't like insulting people or things, so I have a soundboard that does it for me.
I'm dumber than a box of rocks in a lot of areas. Facebook just makes people think I'm smart.
I've lived for the Lord my whole life, and I was dumb as a box of rocks and didn't know it.
Thank you, Shane and Greg, for your contributions to the conversation. This is just painful.
Just sign your gender here, Xavier.
Sign your gender here.
You can be a girl if you want to.
This is very obviously pressuring a kid into doing something, right? Coercing a kid into doing something, into forming out this specific identity that these two adults want the kid to have. That's wrong. That is wrong. That's not what's happening in society at all.
It's okay. This is what he wants.
I guess. Do what you feel is best, Xavier.
I don't know what I want to be, Mommy.
Well, you love strawberries over chocolate, right, Xavier? That is pretty feminine.
But I like chocolate sometimes.
Okay, I do too.
He's my son. I'm not tolerating this nonsense.
Oh, now he's become an alpha male, and he's gonna go Hulk out and go in there and show his toxic masculinity off.
Put the pen down, son.
Albert, what are you?
Shut your mouth.
Sir, you need to calm down. You're behaving like an animal.
I am an animal, and I'm protecting my son. This is jungle, so you better get back.
Albert, please.
Raven, get your big back in the car.
Did he just say, get your big ass back in the car? That's what he said to her, to his wife.
Please.
Raven, get your big back in the car and take our son with you.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Oh, God, it's so cringy and terrible, dude. It's so cringy, like I want to vomit, you know? It's like people have different reactions to cringe. Sometimes I just like my face wants to implode. It's so cringy. And this one, I just want to vomit all over everything. It's so bad. She says, yes, sir. She's so interested in somebody who takes charge. I guess she isn't a feminazi after all, huh? Or is a subtle message that feminazis are actually looking for somebody to take charge of them? Is that like, am I picking this up correctly?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Dude, I don't know why I rewound it or whatever, so I could see that again.
Come on, baby. Typical angry black man.
Okay, that's racist. Like, really. Like, seriously, they've played up every trope, every racist, misogynistic, anti-trans, anti-LGBT, every trope imaginable. They've played it up here. It's insane.
Don't change, huh, Karen?
Wait, there are little dots here, so I guess he's saying, did he say bitches don't change? Is that?
Don't change, huh, Karen?
Yeah, I can't even see his mouth because the camera was turned away, but I think he said bitches don't change, huh, Karen?
Don't change, huh, Karen?
Foiled again. She really wanted to turn this kid trans. Drat. She'll get him next time.
Hey.
So, what are we gonna do now, Dad?
Well, first we're gonna head down to the city clerk.
City clerk? What's that?
Well, the only thing we changing today is your last name.
Thank you, Dad. I love being a boy.
No problem, son. I know you'll grow up to be an amazing man. I love you.
I love you too.
It's okay to be a man and have old school morals.
Oh, God, that was bad. That's the creator of the YouTube channel, by the way. Millions of subbies, okay? This is not small. I don't know how many views this specific video had, but it was a lot. Let me look. Okay, 150,000 views on this video, and the YouTuber has 1.8 million subbies on his channel. No joke.
There's nothing wrong with accepting the trans community, but there's also nothing wrong with the straight community. We need to all appreciate each other's upbringings and differences. Don't hate, just appreciate. I truly hope...
Was that the message? Don't hate, just appreciate? That's what he was trying to communicate here? This is him.
I truly hope you enjoyed today's video. Remember to check out...
I did not.
...my daughter's new YouTube channel.
That's gonna be a no from me. Oh, this poor woman, dude. I'm sorry. Oh, this poor kid, dude. This poor kid's gonna be like brainwashed into insane nonsense. She gets older. Says you can follow him on Facebook.
Follow me on Facebook where you see some exclusive content on there. And if you want to see behind the scenes, remember to follow me on Instagram and TikTok. Don't forget.
Okay, no thank you. I like your shirt though. I'm not taking a break. I'm rendering. That's funny. I render videos and it takes forever sometimes. It takes like an hour or so sometimes because I render a whole bunch together. Anyway, that was bad. That was absolutely terrible. Seriously, like the trans panic has come to a fever pitch at this point. Tell me what you think in the comments. This is just disgusting. All right, let me reset the camera. All right, I don't have as much time as I was hoping that I had. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, okay. I have time for one more, unfortunately. I thought I had more time than that. All right, I'm going to hit the portal one then. Unfortunate. I really wanted to hit the voicemails, but I just don't have the time to hit them, so oh well. What can you do? I got to work out my timing better in the future. Check out Owen's book. Thank you, Wesley Oliver. Appreciate that. Yes, thanks for the shout out. Absolutely. And Viv, thanks for coming. Gifted 5 memberships. Oh, memberships have benefits now too, because as soon as I upload them, basically I make them available to you guys, like to members. So you get early access to videos. Patrons do too. Anyway, just painful and stupid. Oh man, that was bad. First voice sounded like Nick Fuentes or Ben S. Or Ben Shapiro. The first voice. Or are you talking about in the are you talking about the anti-trans one?
Hey son. What's going on here?
I borrowed some of my...
Yeah, okay, I can see that. Ben Shapiro.
Hey son. What's going on here?
I can see that. Anyway, thanks for the super chat, Alma Tadero. Just ugh. God, that was bad. That was really bad. All right, let's just jump into it. Talk about Robin Bullock here. All right. For those who might be unfamiliar, this is Robin Bullock. He's a televangelist, and he made some absolutely wild claims recently. Okay, he claims to have opened a portal through which angels can fly, and what, a portal to heaven or something? Like, I don't know. He's a prosperity gospel preacher and faith healer and the whole 9 yards. Just listen to what he said. He did this appearance on this woman's show here. She's also a televangelist. This is Drenda Cassie, I think. She just won Commissioner of Ohio, I think. Anyway, listen to this. By the way, this video came out. When did this come out? Shit, I don't know when these came out. By the way, this video is recent.
It's Baal worship. So we've come down. See, that day we called down, I said, Lord, send the fire, the Elijah moment. Then this portal forms over the White House.
Dude, okay. There's a whole story behind this portal that I want to tell. Roger Stone actually introduced this portal to the world in an effort to entrench himself firmly in the evangelical world and garner their support. He brought this piece of propaganda to the evangelical world about this portal. And it was not portrayed this way when it was first presented. So Robin Bullock, keep this in mind. Now, he's claiming to have created this portal above the White House, right? Just remember this. Keep listening. Sorry. Just remember that. Keep listening here.
A moment. Then this portal forms over the White House of fire. And it's over it now. And they don't want anybody to see that.
It's a portal of fire.
And but it was there, and I guess it's still there. It was there, and it was their own cameras that showed it. And people couldn't get over it because in the daylight it was like a round circle, and at night it looked like an orange moon surrounded with a white circle, and then this fiery storm over to the side.
Tell me about what is that portal for? What's the purpose of that?
Yeah, you opened this portal? Why would you open this portal? And what did you open the portal to?
Well, I called for fire like Mount Carmel that day.
Okay, if you don't know what he's talking about with calling the fire and all that, there's a story in the Old Testament about a guy named Elijah, and Bullock claims to have the Elijah anointing. So Elijah was a character in the Bible who's very close to God, and he was a prophet. He's prophetic. He would prophesy things that were going to happen, and he would, he was heavily revered within his religious community, so on and so forth. Well, he set up this scenario where he set up 2 altars, one altar to Baal, one altar to Yahweh, and he got the Baal worshipers down there and said, you pray for as long as you want, say or do whatever you want, whatever it takes, to get Baal, your god, to light your altar on fire. And I will pray and do mine. So you go first. And the Baal worshipers prayed. I think the Bible says they prayed for 12 hours from midnight all the way till noon or something like that. And nothing happened. And then Elijah prayed, and it lit both altars. Like fire came down from heaven, from the sun, I guess, and hit the altars and lit them both up, leaving everybody there completely uninjured, of course, because fire from the sun isn't hot at all, apparently. But anyway, that's the story. So when he talks about having the Elijah anointing, it means he believes himself to be a prophet of God. If he talks about Elijah in any context, he's talking about creating a portal of fire or whatever from heaven.
Mount Carmel that day.
Oh, yeah, and it happened on Mount Carmel, by the way.
Of that.
Well, I called for fire like Mount Carmel that day. After that, it formed.
Like, why did he call for fire? And did he have an altar set up?
But there is a corridor. See, demonic spirits can't open portals into heaven.
Okay. Demonic spirits can't open portals into heaven. All right, go on.
But they open them through time.
Or trying to build a tower, right? Tower of Babel.
That's what that was about. And
I'm so lost. What does a tower have to do with opening portals through time? What?
It was about, and there was a lot to that tower. But what you saw is a corridor open and a battle over a portal, over this nation.
Okay, so that happened. Now, let me talk about the origins of this portal. Robin Bullock just flat out claimed that he opened this portal above the White House, like Elijah, thus proving he has the Elijah anointing, okay? Let's look at the original clips. I think this is February. Hang on. Let me look this up, see when this was. So the last video we just watched, that was from late March 2024. These next videos are all from, wait. The next videos we're going to watch here with Roger Stone, they're all from April 26th, 2022. So a couple of years ago. All right, listen to what Roger Stone had to say.
Give me a couple lines of a prayer.
Oh, yeah. Before we watch this one, you know what? I'm actually just going to... Yeah, okay. Yeah, this is the original clip, so I'll go back to the other in a second.
There is very clearly, in my opinion, some kind of satanic portal that is right above the White House, can be seen day and night.
Let's play that little clip because this is.
By the way, if you don't know who Roger Stone is, he worked for Richard Nixon. In fact, he has a big Nixon tattoo on his back. Famously, supposedly involved in Watergate. Roger Stone was. And supposedly, and when he was running, or he was involved in the campaign, I think it was a campaign for Nixon against somebody else, I don't remember. Anyway, he's kind of a political strategist or whatever. He created a company called the Socialists of America or something, and he made the highest possible political donation that one can make, like $10,000 or whatever, to his political opponent, or his, he's a political strategist, so his political candidate's opponent, he made that contribution from Socialists of America, and then slipped the receipt to the news. Look, Socialists of America support my opponent right now, so you should vote for me instead. That's the kind of slimy, sleazy thing that Roger Stone used to do back in the day. Seriously, he did that stuff. That's a real thing that he really did. He'll do whatever it takes to win an election or to whatever. He worked directly with the Proud Boys the day, or what, day, 1 day, 2 day, 3 days before January 6th happened. He met them in a parking garage. The Oath Keepers leader, Stuart Rhodes, the leader of the Proud Boys, either Enrique Tarrio or Joe Biggs. Enrique Tarrio wasn't actually at January 6th, I don't think. Maybe he was. Or I think he was orchestrating things from elsewhere and got time for that. Anyway, he met all of them in the parking garage before January 6th happened to plan out what was going to happen. He also received hacked materials from Russia through a Russian hacker named Guccifer 2.0 and released them publicly and everything else. He got sentenced to a whole bunch of time. What was his sentence for? I forget now. Not just charged, not just convicted, but sentenced. Roger Stone was sentenced on... And then Donald Trump commuted his sentence. He erased it. He said, "You're out of it. You don't have to sit in jail. Just go home. Don't pay for the crimes that you committed." This is an article from the New York Times. President Trump commuted the sentence of his longtime friend Roger Stone on 7 felony crimes on Friday. In a lengthy written statement punctuated by the sort of inflammatory language and angry grievances characteristic of the president's Twitter feed, the White House denounced the overzealous prosecutors who convicted Mr. Stone on process-based charges, blah, blah, blah. Looking for what the charges actually were and what his sentence was. I think it was 7 years. I believe that's what his sentence was. It was real. Hold on. Yes. Mr. Stone was sentenced against a backdrop of upheaval at the Justice Department not seen for decades. 4 career prosecutors recommended that he be sentenced to 7 to 9 years in prison, citing advisory sentencing guidelines. After Trump attacked the recommendation on Twitter, William Barr overruled it. Trump then publicly applauded him for doing so, even though the Attorney General said he made the decision on his own and criticized the president on television for undercutting his credibility. Oh, my God. In protest, the prosecutors withdrew from the case in protest, and one quit the department entirely. At Mr. Stone's sentencing hearing, Judge Amy Berman Jackson of the U.S. District Court for the District of Columbia called the situation unprecedented. Without naming him, she suggested that the president had tried to influence the course of justice by publicly attacking her, the jurors, and the Justice Department lawyers. Anybody surprised by that? This was this article, by the way, it was written all the way back in 2020, July 10th, 2020. So anyway, it was a few months before the election took place. Point is, Roger Stone is a professional scumbag. That's what he does. He does scumbag stuff for money, if you're unfamiliar. So now he's trying to ingratiate himself with the evangelical movement and claims to have found a portal above the White House.
Because this is from a sky cam, not our cam. It's one that's permanently mounted, and this was recorded from that 3 or 4 months ago. And I don't even know if you've seen this version of it, Roger.
3 or 4 months ago. Why didn't you just show us the current feed? Just give us the live feed so we can see.
But it's pretty amazing there. I'll set it up for a second. There's
like, where the hell did you even get a feed from 3 or 4 months ago? This is a live feed. Who was recording it for 3 or 4 months exactly? You know what that screams to me? It screams edited footage.
A cloud-like reddish thing with blinking lights in it, and you go, what is that? And then there's a moon-like thing. It looks like the moon or the sun behind a haze, and it's neither of those. That moon-like thing remains to this day. The moon moves. This thing doesn't move. So I'm going to just have the team play that real quick. So go ahead and play that, Emily. So this doesn't have sound, but you see that thing? It looks like a sun behind the clouds or the moon. That has been there for months.
Okay, I don't know what he's talking. He says this footage is months old. I have no idea if this is real or edited or what. I haven't seen real footage of this as far as I can tell. And for the record, this cloud, like, you can't really see because my mouse is small. Hang on, let me see if I can blow my mouse up. Hold on 1 second. Pointer size. Yeah, there it is. Okay. This right here that I'm highlighting with my mouse, it's like this cloud type of deal here. This is an artifact from compression, probably. A compression artifact. Or that's what it looks like. But, you know, in retrospect, watching this, I'm wondering if the purpose or the reason that this is even in this video is because it was like edited in this weird circular moon type of deal, and they wanted to like make it look like the footage was lower quality because higher quality, it was very, very clear that it was fake and photoshopped in.
The sky. Now this is a camera. You see some refractal things as this zooms in.
Dude, like, look at, they're taking a photo of, I'm sorry, they're taking a camera and looking at a live feed, like looking at a TV, which is playing a live feed. Why are you doing that? Why don't you just grab the feed? What, can we just go to the website and look at it now? I don't believe this for a second, like any of it.
See some refractal things as this zooms in. You'll see the moon-like thing. It looks like almost the sun. And then you see that red cloudy stuff. And you see the lights within it. And
it's called compression artifacts.
And I showed this to Robin on the air. It's literally, I don't know the date we showed it. And wow, look at those flashes. And I said, Robin.
This is so stupid, dude. Those are compression artifacts, so if you're unfamiliar, you don't know this field very well. Basically, if you have a letter that you wrote to your spouse and it's like 10 pages long, and each page that you want to mail to your spouse, it's going to cost like 33 cents per stamp per page. So you want to bring it down to 1 page, but it's 10 pages, right? So you put 1 page in, and you include a little note that says, every time you see the character, the @ symbol or the pound sign, like the hashtag sign, that means I love you. And you put that in the envelope, you seal it, you put 2 stamps on, put it in there. And now when your spouse grabs it, she can just write it all back out. And anytime she sees like the hashtag symbol, she puts in I love you. And now you've got 10 pages of letter again. So you're saving money, you're saving, like, information was preserved, but it was decreased dramatically. That's how compression works, basically. So the problem with computers, though, is that it looks for patterns, and anytime it finds, like, a big pattern that's common, like, for example, it sees a lot of, black here, for example, it will compress it all and say, okay, anytime you see a pixel that's within this range, assign it this value. This is the key for that. And it goes through and does that for all of the pixels, basically. That's how compression works. And on the other side, when you unzip it, that's how live streams work. When they send the data over to you, they compress it first because it'll be faster if they do. They send the data over, your computer decompresses it. A lot of the time that takes like a really, really high quality camera and a high quality internet connection, and it creates artifacts because the compressor or the decompressor doesn't get it perfect every time. In fact, it makes a lot of mistakes, especially if the camera isn't that good in the first place. So in my opinion, I think that they're trying to cover up this Photoshop job that they did for this video by adding fake compression artifacts. That's just the way that I see it. I don't know. Tell me if you think so in the comments, but keep listening here.
I said, Robin, what is that? Is that good or evil?
The portal is real. It's amazing that the whole occultic world, Steve, knew that on 2/22/222, a portal was going to open.
2/22/222. What? The whole occultic world. And who is the occultic world exactly? Am I part of the occultic world? What does the occultic world do? Do they have like a board of directors, the occultic board that makes decisions for the occult or whatever?
Now that's all they talked about. They said it.
Who is they? Who's he talking about right now?
They said it was going to open. They were going to use this portal and so forth. I want to tell you something about that portal.
That's interesting. So the occultic world had been talking about this portal for a long time, that they were going to use this portal and so on and so forth, right? What an interesting thing to say. And now here we sit with Robin Bullock talking to Drenda Cassie, new commissioner for Ohio or whatever, county commissioner, I'm not sure. And he says this.
It's Baal worship. So we've come down. See, that day we called down, I said, Lord, send the fire. The Elijah moment.
He's claiming to be like Elijah here.
Then this portal forms over the White House.
And this is literally just a screenshot from what the video that we were just watching a second ago. In fact, it even, like, they circled it in the video that we were watching a second ago. This isn't even his circle.
Of fire. And it's over it now. And they don't want anybody to see that.
Who's they?
And but it was there, and I guess it's still there. It was there, and it was their own cameras that showed it. And people couldn't get over it because in the daylight it was like a round circle, and at night it looked like an orange moon surrounded with a white circle, and then this fiery storm over to the side.
Tell me about what is that portal for? What's the purpose of that?
Because he created it, you see.
Well, I called for fire like Mount Carmel that day. After that, it formed. But there is a corridor. See, demonic spirits can't open portals into heaven.
Wait, so he's saying that this whole time, he knew, apparently, demonic spirits couldn't have done this. It had to have been what he did, right? He had to be responsible for this.
But they open them through time.
Okay, we're lost in the weeds. I have no clue what he's even talking about here. Anyway, keep listening here to him talk about how this portal is really secretly evil. So, March 2024, he created the portal, and it's like a portal of fire or something. April 2022, I think. April 2022, it's evil, and he doesn't know what it is. And oh my God, Roger Stone's bringing this portal to us.
Tell you something about that portal that you just saw. You see the portal, and then you see all the cloudy flashes and all.
You mean the compression artifacts? Yes.
Beside it, all of that going on. And it's amazing that Roger's on during all this because, see, the political realm is where the forces of good and evil come to fight. Because
I don't even know what that means. That sounds profound, but it's complete garbage.
That's the realm. When they come together in that political realm like that, that's the realm that governs the affairs of men.
Knock me over with a feather. Really? You don't say. Politics governs the affairs of men? Is that what you're telling me? See, we wouldn't know these things if we didn't listen to Robin. I'd be completely in the dark about what politics was for. I thought it was so that people could use jump ropes. It's brand new information to me.
And so there's always a fight of spiritual entities in a political realm. It's always there. It's because whoever controls that controls people.
Dude, what the hell is he even going on about? Does this make sense to anybody?
There is very clearly, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah. Okay, that was the end of the video. All right, let me jump forward here. Yeah. Okay, so listen to this next one. This is just like a couple minutes later.
Give me a couple lines of a prayer, Robin, that would say how to pray to close this thing.
Right, because they want the portal closed. It's evil. They've determined on this live stream the portal is evil, and it needs to be shut down. So Robin's going to give us some lines of a prayer that everybody watching should be praying to close this demonic portal that apparently opened to heaven.
Millions of people hear this. What would they say to pray? What would they need to pray?
Satan is only afraid of one thing. Remember this. Faith begins where the will of God is known.
What? Faith begins where the will of God is known? That doesn't make any sense. That is a nonsensical statement. You can't just take words and put them next to each other and expect them to mean something.
Faith will start where you know the will of God. That's where it begins.
That doesn't make any sense.
So we have to stand up and quote the word like Philippians 2, 9, 10, and 11. Jesus has been given a name which is above every name, that at the name of Jesus every knee should bow of things in heaven, things in earth, things under the earth, and every tongue should confess that Jesus Christ is Lord to the glory of God the Father.
Okay, isn't this just a normal prayer? I thought we were trying to close this evil demonic portal to heaven.
Now, you spirit of hell residing in that portal, trying to get through into this earth, I bind you in the name of Jesus. I deny your access to this planet. You cannot come through it, and you have to bow your knee to the name of Jesus.
Okay, so I guess back then, 2 years ago, it was a portal from hell to earth. But now Robin Bullock claims it's a portal from earth to heaven. And it couldn't have been demons that opened it because they can't open a portal to heaven. Only Robin Bullock, who has the Elijah anointing, is capable of doing so. He's just lying, right? This is just a flat out lie. This isn't like mental illness. This isn't an example of him being a QAnoner. This isn't him, nothing, none of that. This isn't him misinterpreting anything or thinking that Trump is like listening to his live streams because he believes that Trump does watch his show. Seriously. This is Robin Bullock lying. He knows exactly where that portal came from and who came up with it and all that other junk. And he also knows that that portal is not visible today. At no point in time could Robin Bullock ever pull up a live stream and see a visible portal, quote unquote, or any kind of artifact at all. Dude is taking footage, seemingly, from Roger Stone and assuming it's real.
Now you're talking about something that can actually stop him.
Awesome.
If you're just going to get on the ground and beg God to do something, forget it. He's already done it.
You got to pray with. You're saying you got to pray with authority, not just hey, it says this, and I pray. You got to
Wait, does anybody ever say, it says this? I've never heard anybody pray that way.
demand and declare and prophesy
with his word.
Yeah,
and
with
his name.
word.
Okay, wow. These people are seriously ridiculous. Oh, here. This is the picture straight out of the thing. Like from the video from late March 2024. He copy and pasted this picture to show as an example of his powers, what he's capable of doing. He's so powerful that he can open a portal to heaven, I guess, or whatever.
There's that circular thing.
There you can see it. It's very, very clear. It doesn't move day or night. It's harder to see during the day, but you see it at night. I'm absolutely convinced about the inherent, there it is again, about the inherent evil of what's going on.
Oh, it was evil back then.
In the White House, what's going on in the country. And I think it's imperative that people know about this, that people of good faith, that Christians know about this, and we begin a national, essentially a prayer assault to close the portal.
That's good. Now, there's one during the day that...
No, it's not. This is a picture of night. Yeah, I can see stars. What do you mean during the day?
There's one during the day that it's harder to see, but
Yeah,
that's
but you can see it.
It's there. It's right there above the...
No, that's an artifact. Are you kidding? These people are the biggest jokes alive.
White House. So
It's always above that gable. You notice that?
Oh, no, he's reading into it. Okay, well, I mean, honestly, I knew he was going to formulate conspiracies about it, but I didn't see this one. I did not see this one coming. Robin Bullock claiming to have created it himself. That one threw me for a loop for sure.
Oh,
it's right above the gable.
It is. Now, Roger, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but you're talking about prayer, that it needs prayer.
We have to close the portal. That's what this is about. We now, as Christians, our obligation is to close the portal.
And when somebody shows up to D.C. to see if the portal is there, they're not going to see one. So guess what? The prayer worked in their minds. They're going to believe that the prayer warriors won another round against Satan. Insane.
It's essentially to drive Satan away.
Well, that was the end of it. Okay, I'll just cut that part off. I think this is the same video I had from before. Yeah, it is. Okay, good. You know, like, again, this is just an example of Robin Bullock flat out lying, right? I don't see any other explanation for this than he's lying, intentionally, knowingly lying. Like, he came out after claiming that Trump is going to win in 2020 and then being proven unequivocally and beyond a shadow of a doubt wrong. After being proven a false prophet, he got mad. Oh, my God, was he mad? Oh, he was yelling at people and everything on air. This is mid-November 2021, immediately after he realized that Trump lost.
Well, no!
I'm sorry, let's step back.
Apologize. Go ahead and apologize. Well, no! How about that? Just so you can hear me again. No!
Oh, I'm sorry. This is actually a year after Trump lost. 1 year. Almost to the day, probably.
Because you are wrong. If this had no meaning to it and no prophet standing speaking today was, if they were all wrong, why don't it go away?
I mean, it has gone away. It's just like this dude is keeping it alive.
How come it hasn't ever faded away?
Because he won't shut up about it.
How come it's still a fight over that election?
It's not.
If it was wrong and it wasn't true, then why are we still debating all of this? Folks, it would have already passed. You keep your doctrines. You keep your doctrines, but I'll tell you what, you are going to answer for trying to regulate the Lord's prophets.
Like, I love that he's doing absolutely nothing with these books. He's picking them up and placing them down again and moving them from place to place and then putting them back where they were before. It's really entertaining to me.
You keep your doctrines, but I'll tell you what, you are going to answer for trying to regulate the Lord's prophets. You with your big educations. You're going to answer for trying to regulate a prophet of the Lord and telling a prophet of the Lord that what God said is not true, but what you said is true. You're in trouble. You're in trouble now.
Yeah, I'm shaking in my boots here. So the point is, Robin Bullock is a liar. How can I possibly look past what he just did with that portal thing? How can I possibly believe a word out of his mouth moving forward? How can I believe anything that he says after I watched him on air 2 years ago talk about this portal being evil and how he had to pray it away and demons opened it into the earth and blah, 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 blah. And now he's on televangelist TV shows claiming he opened the portal. How can I take him seriously? How can I trust anything he says moving forward? I knew that the guy was a liar, but I honestly don't know how you move past this. Is there another... There is no other explanation beyond he just straight up lied about this, is there? Anyway, tell me what you think in the comments. This dude is just completely full of it. Anyway, all right, sorry. I have to get out of here. It's super late. But anyway, yeah, that's the last one. But I'm going to call it. Don't forget, check out my book, owenmorgan.com/book. If you want an ebook copy and you did a pre-order on Etsy, I will send you an ebook copy if you send me a message. Just send me a message on there. I found it's really, really hard to send out ebook copies en masse. It's just not possible. So if someone wants a copy, let me know. Anyway, let me know through Etsy. All right, guys, I got to get out of here. Appreciate you coming so much. And I will talk to you guys on Tuesday. If not, I'll see you next week, okay? And I'm going to start running outros again because it gets cut off mid-sentence. But yeah, thanks for coming. Thank you for coming, Nerical. Thanks for coming, Q. Thank you, everybody. I can't do a best of reel here, but, Bob Commodi, Robert Adset, thanks for being here every single stream. Alma Tadero, yeah, we got a lot of regulars here, so I appreciate you guys coming, all right? All right, I'll see you guys a little bit later on. That's all I've got for you. If you like what I do and you want to see me continue to do it, don't forget to check me out on Patreon. And take a look at my YouTube channels. Owen Morgan, where I talk about religious issues. Telltale Fireside Chat, where I talk about politics. Telltale Unfiltered, where I do long-form breakdowns of stuff like this, and Telltale Reads, where I read books by televangelists and others. I release everything in parts, but every part stands independently of the last, so you can jump in anywhere and I'll make sure it makes sense. You can find some ad-free, uncensored, complete versions of all my videos on my website, owenmorgan.com. And while you're there, don't forget to sign up for my email list to get early access to everything. All links are in the description. Okay, thanks for watching, guys.